What's up, you guys? How's it going? Welcome on into the stream. I'm super happy to be here with you guys. Um, as you guys could probably already tell, um, we messed up on Echo last time, so we've got to do Carl's path all over again. Yeah, even though it's gonna take like probably like an hour or so, or a few hours, or however long that it takes us to get there. You know, I definitely want to see what type of story that we go through first before we head on to Leo. And as much as I like Leo as a character, we got to go back. We got to go back into Carl's route. Okay, but there I am. Look at that. It's a dumb leper. Also, bro, no, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, but yeah, I just realized what you said about fuck James, we're going John. I just realized it. It confused me for a second, but just now I realized what it meant. Wait, does it allow you to see like unseen text? Because that's what we need. Because if it allows us to see I also need to set these things back, because I had to change it last time. Can't believe I forgot about that. Oh, it already got it. Hello? Okay, that was weird. Okay. Alright, we're gonna turn the music off for now. But okay. We're gonna load the game. Okay, so that's gonna be reserved for Leo and Jenna right there. Oh, we can! Okay, that's perfect. Oh my gosh, wow. It feels like it's been like forever since we've been here. Also, you can click the river in the background of the title for extra stuff. Wait, really? In the title screen? You know what? Since we're also going to be going on a different route here, we're going to be mean this time. Don't take this the wrong way, but maybe you should see a therapist. He snorts and finally turns his head to look at the back of me, his horns bumping the wall loudly. Ha! Already do. I thought they'd just give me a pill to make things better, but apparently I have to actually make an effort too. And I'm like, isn't that why I'm seeing you for the whole making an effort thing? I know I did screw up. You see why I say I'm a dumb leper now? Because dumb leper makes dumb decisions. I laugh along with him. Yeah, I can remember what that's like. He watches me for a few seconds. So is all those problems you're taken care of now? I hope so. We lay in silence for a little while before I finally speak up. Listen, I'll probably come back a few times this week to work with that history stuff. Well, why don't we go out and do something? That'd be nice. I grin, glad I'm making Carl feel better. Cool, let's plan on it. Carl puts his paws behind his head and smiles. It's cool that you're here, Chase. It's cool to be here, Carl. And not just because it's nice to have someone to talk to. Oh? No. This house is... Okay, yeah, so we've seen this. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Wow, it feels like it's been forever since we've seen, like, all of them at once. I think that's actually the first time I've ever seen anyone think that's like the first time I've seen anyone use the commands before. But thanks for the hug. Um, how do I say your name actually? I'm sorry. But thank you so much for the big hug. Yusido? Yusidio? Okay. I'll have to remember that. I'll definitely have to remember that. Okay, but you know what? He's drunk. We shouldn't let him. And thank you for the tongue screenshot. Yeah, of course. I'm always blepping. Even though my face is frozen right now, I can assure you, I am blepping. I smirk at him. Carl, you're drunk. No, I'm not. He bursts into giggles even before he finishes the sentence. The ram then decides to roll over, directly onto my chest. I let out a quiet irk, trying to push him off my more sensitive areas. Fortunately, he seems to get a hint and props himself up on his elbows. Tell you what, if he asks me again in the morning sober, I'll say yes. Ah, come on. I love these little scenes here. I absolutely love them. Okay, but now we're gonna skip through all this. Hopefully in the next stream we can fix that face rig. I always shut it off when I'm streaming because my laptop will not be powerful enough to keep that on, and it won't be powerful enough to, like, already in general, like, my streams really aren't the best in terms of quality. So, I mean, until I can get a better system, then maybe I might be able to. Okay, I think we went with Don't Wear It last time, so we'll say Wear It. Hey, I actually think it looks kind of nice with everything else you got on. Carl glances at me, but stops fidgeting with the beanie. Raven looks at me, then back to Carl. Well, alright. Carl sighs and shifts around again. We watch him expectantly. Just feels weird as all. It's new, you'll get used to it. I pull out my phone to look at the time. Alright, we really need to head out. We should get there early. So we head out to the door. Raven makes as if to follow us. I kick myself for forgetting to talk with him earlier. I turn around to face him as Carl stands at the door. Dusky, hi! And no, I am not cute, but how's it going, buddy? Is that a Vox? Is that a Vox Wolf in the chat? Is that a cutie Vox in the chat? Bark. Bark, 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 bark. But yeah, we're back to Echo Vox. Because we did a dumb decision, which was to let Carl, like, take in the spirit instead of fighting it. So we got the bad ending for that. Sonic's 30th anniversary is coming. The extra stuff I was talking about is the gallery, the game soundtrack, and the screen. Really? Okay, I'll have to try that out, like, probably, like, once we're done here. Hey, Raven. He stops. What's up? So after the interview, me and Carl... Oh, okay, so we've seen this too. We've seen all this. Yep. We've seen all this. Oh wait, I am not cute. Dusky, you are cute, not me. Who's next? Jenna or TJ? Oh, I forgot that we had the everything is fine, everything is fine, everything is fine. Heck, I've been booped. So we're gonna be going to Leo next, Fire Tiger. Jenna, I'm gonna go after Leo. Wow, we've been here for like a long while. Hey, boop 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 boop. Ah, you see? Okay, hold on. Go back. But it's important to me what you think. We're in this together. See, here is where we messed up. We're supposed to tell him to fight the spirit and not to let it help him. That's what went wrong because in the ending in that last on our last episode, um, Carl was possessed by one of the spirits there. I keep forgetting like who is who, but whatever spirit that controlled that's controlling him now is what possessed him. You know, Ertate, Jik, Sue, and I know Ertate well. I know Jik a little bit. I know I mean Sue. I think you mean Sue Cooner. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Rock Candy Wolf. I don't think I know. James. Okay, okay, got it. So yeah, James, the big old serial killer to Carl, he was the one possessing Carl the whole time. So now we have to tell him to fight it. So now I guess the question is, at least like my question is, like, is the story gonna be different now, like throughout this whole thing, compared to what we did before, or is it just the same for a little bit? No, whether or not it made Carl feel good, I can't shake the bad feeling it gives me. I rest a hand on his. No, after everything that's happened, I don't trust whatever it is. You know what? I probably shouldn't have said that either. Because in reality, if like that were to happen to me, I wouldn't trust anything either. Carl watches me closely. Seriously, we need to be more careful. Besides, I lean my head against his shoulder again. We are in this together. We don't need that thing meddling with us to get through it. I feel some of the tension go out of Carl's muscles as we wrap each other more tightly in our respective embraces. We sit there for a while, Carl absorbing what I just said. It's clear that whatever is influencing Carl and Jenna is powerful, and we had to be careful. Whatever he decides, I pray it's the right decision. Oh look, now we can't skip! I wake up groggily, my head throbbing a bit from laying on the stiff pillow. Like the last time I woke up, it takes me a while to realize where I am. And just like the last time I get... Oh wait. Oh! Oh look, see, now we can't skip this part. Yeah, look, see? So now we are in like a separate part. Okay, interesting. I think all of this is the same though, right? He's pressing his cheek against mine. I can feel him hesitating as he does it. His movement's kind of jerky and awkward. I almost laugh, but I have to remind myself that Carl probably hasn't done this before. At least not since high school. Definitely not with a guy, at least. A hand slides over my side, close to my... He doesn't go lower, though, and keeps it pressed against my body. It feels nice having someone close to me like this. Oi! Darius, I am not cute. I am not cute, and I never will be. I am a dumb and angry blabber. Even though I've given up on trying to understand the situation, I'm still scared about what's happening. I can feel Carl's heart beating hard against my back, and I wonder if he's thinking about the same things. That's when I feel as if... Nope. you guys did not see anything there. I gotta go. Sorry, but have fun. Okay, Rocky. Or no. Oh shoot. You told me to refer... What do you want me to call you, Rocky? Like... Oh, wait. What do you want me to call you? At least, on here. Like, do you still want me to call you by the other name? Did you do the affiliate already? I haven't yet. I am not cute, Diamond. But how's it going, buddy? No, I am not cute. Okay. Here I am in a haunted ghost cabin and my childhood friend is grinding up on me. Carl feels me tense up and lifts his hand away from my stomach. Sorry, this isn't... I roll over abruptly to face him. His green eyes immediately look away from mine and I see red creeping underneath the thin fur of his ear. I decide to go with the same technique I used last night and slide up against his soft body before pressing my lips against his. That seems to break the ice and he immediately responds, pressing his tongue against my lips before I open to let him in. Carl surprisingly is good at tongue kissing, better than how Leo was anyway. I glides over my tongue before flicking against my teeth. I'm momentarily worried about how I haven't brushed for at least 2 days now, but Carl doesn't seem to mind. Well, yeah, technically, because you're in a freaking other dimension. No, I am not. I am not cute, and I never will be. I mean, he hasn't either, after all. He wraps his hand around my back, sliding one under my body so he can wrap me in a full embrace. The feeling of being enveloped in Carl's soft and strong wound makes my heart skip a beat, and pretty soon I'm what the? What the? Okay. While his hands toy with my tail, I get to work running my own hands under his shirt, sliding them up along his firm belly before pushing his shirt up. Carl tenses and giggles. Ah, fuck, that tickles. I pause and smirk at him. I barely even touched you. I give his stomach a light prod and he curls up a bit more, grabbing my wrist. Bandit! Hey! Welcome on in, Bandit, and thank you so much for the host. How's it going, buddy? Dude, I think I'm just not used to be touched like... I applied both hands this time, running them like spiders across the stomach and chest. I had to come see my boy Carl. Oh, and you too, Spitfire. Ah, thanks so much for stopping by, Bandit. But we messed up on this boy's story last time. Because we got the bad ending. Which we weren't supposed to do. We weren't supposed to let the spirit in. So we told him to fight it this time, and this time we actually can't skip the dialogue. This is completely new. Dude, no! He twists and writhes under my hands, desperately trying to stifle his giggles before finally snatching up my hands by the wrists. I remind how strong he is when he easily rolls me to my back, straddling my hips as he pins my hands above my head. You asshole. Carl's breathing heavily, letting out a little giggle every now and then. Sorry, just never seen someone get so. I pause as I hear some movement from downstairs, followed by what sounds like Raven's voice. I'm reminded of our situation when I see some flakes of blood around Carl's nose and the big splotches on his shirt. I guess we're being a little too loud. Yeah, how's your nose? Carl automatically raises a hand to touch his nose. Hurts a little bit, but I'm okay. That's good. I lay there in silence for a few seconds, feeling like the moment is kind of ruined. I look again at the walls, remembering that we should be looking for something instead of messing around like this. What you looking at? Not sure. Hey, we should be finding something, right? My crotch is starting to get a little uncomfortable under the weight of Carl's body. I mean, didn't that ghost ancestor... Okay, yeah, so all of this is the same. Yeah, all of this is the same. Except for that one scene, I guess, but I don't know why we can't skip it out. We can't skip it this time. Okay, so, again, since we've seen all this already... Oh wait, since he doesn't have the spirit to help us this time, maybe there is something different. Where's Carl? Okay, so since Carl is now trying to fight this thing, is he gonna know where the letter's at? Psst, 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 psst. I turn around, but she's already on the other side of the room, standing next to the opposite side of pantries. Did you say something? She doesn't respond, so I stare at her for another few seconds before slowly turning back around. The fur on the back of my neck prickles at the idea of turning my back on her. Oh, it. Okay. Okay. I stare for a moment. Hey, I'm gonna go upstairs. Jenna's head snaps back sharply to stare at me, and I swear I heard her neck crack. Just to see if you found anything. I'll be back. I awkwardly slid on my way out of the kitchen towards the stairs, and Jenna's gaze following me the entire way. Once I reach the base of the stairs, I find Carl standing there. He jumps when I come around the corner and stands straight up, one hand resting against the wall. His eyes are red, and the short fur in his face is all mussed up. Carl, are you okay? I whisper it, but Carl immediately turns around and starts back up the stairs quietly. I follow him, wondering what it could be. Did he find something horrific? I wouldn't be surprised at all if that were the case. Once we reach the top of the stairs, Carl heads straight for the bedroom. Ah! Heck, I've been booped! Heck and heck. Heck and heck or heck. Carl, what happened? Did you find something? At that moment, he turns around and hugs me. It's so enveloping and firm that the air is almost crushed out of me. I grunt and freeze for a moment, listening to Carl huff into my chest. He's holding me like I'm something precious, like if he lets go, I'm going to be swept away somehow. I'm quiet for a few seconds, letting Carl get whatever this is out of his system. My arms are pinned down to my sides anyway, so it's not like I can respond physically. Oh! Are you okay? It's a dumb question because none of us are okay. Carl finally lets go. He turns away from me right away to sit on the bed and puts his face in his hands. My shirt's damp and I look down to see 2 wet spots where his eyes had been. Tentatively, I sit down next to him at the foot of the bed and put my hand on his back. What happened? Carl sniffs loudly, wiping his face before putting his face back down in his hands. The ram sighs before finally straightening up to lean back on his hands, looking away from me. I just feel like shit is all. Can I help? I just had a moment. I couldn't breathe. I keep rubbing his back, knowing that there really isn't anything I can do. A panic attack? How come? A lot of things. Carl shivers under my touch. And, well, I feel like everyone's mad at me. Why? No one's mad at you. Well, Jenna first of all, but I feel like everyone thinks this is my fault or something. Why would any of this be your fault? He probably was right about Jenna, though. It's my house, my great whatever it is. It's all just my shit. He sniffs. I don't know, just being alone gets me thinking about this stuff. How I'm still fucking everything up. Dude, Jenna told us, fucked up things are happening everywhere, not just your house. I look around, which I'm assuming we're still in, maybe? I look back down at Carl. What brought all of this up? We were just working together to get ourselves out of here. Everyone's shirt is getting dirty. They better take them off. I mean, we don't have a shower down here. And we don't have a change of clothes either. And this boy is staying with nosebleeds, so... Hey! I am clean, excuse you. I'm a clean pupper. I'm a clean woofer. I'm a clean blepper. Is what I meant to say. Carl wipes his face and sniffles noisily before sitting up straight. I wasn't finding anything, and I started thinking about what would happen if we ever do find anything. Wait. Up. I'm a bap to both of you. Bap, 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 bap. I wasn't finding anything, and I started thinking about what would happen if we never found anything. That's not gonna happen. These things that are doing this are trying to tell us something, right? I don't know about that, man. They just seem as confused, as angry as we are. Carl looks up at me with his reddened eyes. It's like they're fighting, too. Yeah, I guess they're having some issues. Carl reaches out, and I let him pull me into his side. I don't resist, and Carl chuckles. And it's just creepy being up here alone. I fit against him almost perfectly, and I lay my head against his shoulder. Sorry. For what? I feel like I should be the strong one. Huh? And you already seen me cry like twice. Hey, I don't believe in the strong one type of crap. I rest a hand on Carl's thigh, squeezing it. You're strong for the other person when they need it, and both people will need it eventually. Carl shifts against me and he laughs nervously. You're talking about us like we're a thing. Aren't we a thing? Look at what we're doing right now. I don't know, man. It's hard to say that when you're stuck in a haunted cabin. I feel him press his nose to my head, inhaling. This place is doing weird things to me. I squeeze his thigh again. Yeah, we can talk about it when we actually get out of here. And this stuff isn't fucking with our heads. Yeah, you both are getting bapped. So, we're a thing, but just in the ghost dimension? Sure, for now. I'm fine with that, for now. He breathes in deeply. You smell good. I snort. What do I smell like? Like, well, the ocean. Dude, I'm a river otter. Besides, the river and ocean smell bad. Carl nips into the side of my neck and I gasp, trying to pull away from him. He pulls me back easily with his superior strength before pushing me back into the bed, teasing at my neck with his warm nose. Carl, stop! I hiss at him, trying to not burst out laughing. He mumbles against my neck. Hey, I'm just getting you back for earlier. I giggle helplessly behind a closed mouth, trying to keep quiet. I can't deny I like this, but Jenna's criticism just minutes earlier has me feeling hesitant. Yeah, this is a roller coaster of emotions. You know what? I'm actually liking this pathway better because, the reason why I guess, like, like he was feeling like crap earlier was because he was just following our word. He was fighting whatever was trying to possess him, which in this case is James. He starts to move lower, but at that moment I hear metal clang echo upstairs. We both pause and Carl's large ears are perked under his beanie. I prop myself up on my elbows and look towards the doorway. I guess we should get back to searching. Yeah. With the moment clearly over, Carl sits back up on the side of the bed while I straighten out my shirt. You found something? Raven's voice drifts faintly up the stairs. Carl and I look at each other. Hey, maybe we won't need to. You want to go check? Yeah. Wait a sec. If it's nothing, I'll come back up and help you look around, alright? Okay. Carl scoots up to the side so I can get off the bed. It takes me a few minutes to get down the stairs on my stiff ankle. Once I get into the kitchen, I'm confronted with an odd scene. Jenna's halfway into the wood-burning stove, reaching into the back, probably up into the metal tube. What are you doing? She found something. Raven's standing off to the side of the stove, bouncing on the balls of his feet. It's stuck. Jenna grunts as she adjusts herself, reaching in from a different angle. What is it? I hobble slowly across the room towards them. You need help? I realize he's talking to me, but I shake my head at the husky as I watch Jenna pull back and look into the opening of the stove. Goddamn thing shouldn't be that hard to get. Maybe I can help. But Jenna's already plunging her hand back in, head sticking out just out the opening as she does. That seems to garner some success as she smirks. Ha! Got it! Then her whole body jerks as she's seemingly yanked into the opening. Raven yelps as Jenna grabs onto the side of the stove to keep from getting pulled in. Oh my gosh! Jenna? My voice rises in panic as I see her get yanked a second time. Raven automatically steps up next to her and grabs her arm. A third yank almost pulls him off his feet. I run over to help him wrap my arms around Jenna's waist to get a better grip. Another jolt and I'm able to feel the power of whatever had hold on Jenna myself. Meow! Bark! What's happening? I hear thudding and rustling in the stove like something's turning over angrily and repeatedly. The image of some kind of caged animal passes through my mind as it sends chills up my spine. No, you fucking don't! I look up at the fox and notice that she doesn't look scared at all. Instead, she looks pissed off, her lips drawn back in a snarl, her teeth bared viciously. She's talking to whatever's in the stove. I feel the muscles in her body tensed up and writhing under my hands as she twists to get free. I look around her body at Raven. His face, in contrast, is a mask of horror. Raven! His wide eyes snap to mine. Get a grip around her body and we'll pull at the same time. He briefly lets go Jenna's arm to lay down on her other side and wrap his arms around her waist. Okay, on 3. 1, 2. Another yank and suddenly Jenna's upper half is pulled into the stove. I lose my balance and fall back on my butt, knocking my head against the metal stove. My eyes water and I let go with one hand, desperately rubbing at the back of my head while I loosely keep a grip on Jenna with the other. Chase! Raven's actually sliding into the fireplace himself at this point. I try to get my bearings and pull myself back up next to Jenna, but at that point something big and bulky comes barreling into the room. My vision clears just in time to see the big ram reaching for Jenna's body, practically pushing Raven aside. His horns clang loudly against the stove as he wraps his arms around Jenna's body and pulls back with all his 270 pounds behind it. Damn! The fox emerges slowly, both of her arms still stuck in the stove, a determined look still on her face. Carl lets go for half a second, lunging forward to grab both of Jenna's elbows. He yanks back again, letting out a strained grunt. As her wrists emerge from the stove, I get a glance at the black tendrils wrapped around them before the tendrils suddenly disappear. Oh, that's right, because there was also something that was in the stove last time that was trying to bring us in there too. Carl and Jenna are both launched back, Jenna getting a cushioned landing on top of the ram as Carl lets out a loud wheeze. I hobble over to them, kneeling next to Carl as Jenna rolls off of him. I have no idea how to say that. Eliciting another grunt. You know what? I'll stick with that. She sits up while Carl continues to lay there. His eyes are wide. You guys okay? Carl waves a hand at me, rolling over onto the side as he gasps breathlessly. Jenna sits next to him, holding her hands up. That's correct, I think? Okay, that's good to know. I can already see some nasty swelling under the fur covering her wrists. I wince. Jenna, you alright? I'm fine. She's not looking at her wrist, though. Instead, it's an ash-smudged folded piece of paper in her hands. From the bits that aren't covered, I can see that the paper is yellowed and ancient-looking. Not at all like the clearly photocopied newspaper we seen earlier. Jenna looks down at it, standing up. I hear a groan next to me and turn back to Carl. I can't go a day without getting beat up. I rub his shoulders and look down at him, smiling. Wow, that was kind of heroic. Carl grunts as he sits up. You think so? Yeah, and all at the last second, too. Carl rubs his knees. I would have gotten here early if I hadn't tripped down the stairs like twice. He stares at the stove. What the hell was that? I look, too, into the yawning black hole and shiver. I don't know, but it was all black and smoky like what we saw before. Think it'll come out of there? Raven suddenly steps in to lift the stove door, twisting the handles to lock it. He yelps as he does it, jumping back as soon as the deed is done. I chuckle, then look back at Carl. Over his shoulder, Jenna walks into my field of vision. You know, I like Raven. Raven is an absolute adorable being. The paper is open in her hands, and she's holding it over the candle. All at once, I realize what she's trying to do. I choke on whatever I'm about to say next and leap up awkwardly into my injured ankle. Jenna! Luckily, Jenna is only about 5 feet away, and I practically fall into her, pushing her away from the candle. We both fall against the bench under the window. Jenna's hand smacks against my nose, bringing tears to my eyes. I help as she pulls her fingers in, raking... Oh, shoot. Wait, was this... Carl swears and trips over me at Jenna. Wait! I try to grab him by the hoof that's passing over me. Oh yeah, that's right. This scene she was trying to burn the damn thing. That is fucking it. Pins her down while she writhes under him, trying to scratch his face. Stop it, guys. Raven's still standing off to the side, his paws on his head, pulling at his ears. Okay, so I think all of this is the same. Yeah, this is the same. Oh, hold on. That was different. Once he notices me, he looks at my ankle. Fuck, are you okay, man? No, I don't think so. I stepped on it wrong again. God damn it, the fuck is your problem? It's okay. You're just gonna have to carry me again. Carl chuckles before letting out another softer groan. What did I say about getting beat up all the time? Are you okay? No, she kicked me in the fucking balls. I sit quietly for a moment, the pain in my ankle fading into a more cold electric sting rather than a molten lava. What the hell is going on? Why would she try to burn it? Carl is quiet for a moment, then maybe James is also trying to, like, possess her, too. You know, this probably has something to do with James and John. I rub the back of my head again, feeling a bump swelling up already. Didn't we already figure out that's what's going on? I mean, with Jenna, you know how James was sort of talking to me? Yeah, like he told you what to find. Yeah, but I think something's talking to Jenna, too. John? Maybe. To make you guys fight? Well, weren't they lovers? Would there be a reason for John wanting this paper not to be read? Carl doesn't say anything, choosing to roll onto his back and lay his hands out to either side of him. I looked back down at the paper in my hand. Well, should I read this now or wait for the others? Might as well do it now. She might try something again. Alright, I'm gonna read it out loud then. Carl waves a hand in the air, indicating that I should go ahead. I scoot back against the wall so I can stretch my leg out and start reading. Yeah, so this is the same. So, what do you think that means? Carl rubs inconspicuously at his crotch. Well, I guess something went wrong between James and John. Oh yeah, but what? It sounds like he tried to frame him or something. I remember the newspaper clipping that had somehow got up in flames. Hey, remember that that article? Hey, remember that? It didn't say remember, damn it. Hey, that newspaper article that burned up said something about a Meseta kid that went missing. So native kids went missing and John used it to get at James somehow? Maybe. We still don't know if John was doing it anyway. James doesn't seem to know either. Wait, I wonder if we'd have been better off if Carl had a little bit of James in him right now. At least we'd have a better idea of what's going on. Well, maybe. Then again, the situation's so volatile with Jenna and I'm kinda glad we don't have another ghost to deal with in Carl. I look at the ram who's in the middle, pulling his waistband out to look at his junk. If James is still influencing Carl somehow, then he really isn't showing it. You okay? Carl abruptly lets go of the waistband, letting it snap back against his waist. Huh? Yeah, I'm fine. Are your balls okay? Carl smiles ruefully. They look fine. They still kind of hurt. A little bit of James in him. I'm thinking about making a joke about making them feel better, but that doesn't really feel appropriate right now. I'm actually more worried about Jenna, and not just because she can beat me up. Yeah. It seems that at this point, Jenna really isn't Jenna anymore. Should we talk to her about, I don't know, resisting it? It's worked for me. I look in the direction of the door as a loud click emanates from it. Carl's long ears perk up as he follows my gaze. We both stare at it for a few seconds. You think... maybe? Slowly Carl gets to his feet, still a little bow-legged, and hobbles towards the door. Careful. I say, a little apprehensive that something might open it from the other side. Carl doesn't say anything and slowly shuffles towards the door, pausing in front of it for a few seconds. Slowly he reaches out and rests a hand on the handle, then gives it a slight push. It shifts open a few inches. Carl looks back at me. I think we should get the others. We all stand around the door. Okay, I think this is all the same. What did the letter say? I tense up. Anything she does now is putting me on edge. Okay. Some more history stuff. About what? Okay, bup. Oh, okay. Hold on, go back. I make an effort not to look at Jenna. So if they're not... Wait, I just think that they're not really on our side, you know? So if they're not, why are we doing what they want us to do? I realize I'm shaking now and make an effort to make my hand still. That's when I feel something big and warm slide into my right hand and glance down to find Carl holding it. He gives me a quick look and a small smile before returning his attention back to the door. Well, what else should we do? Raven's tone isn't accusatory, but it's genuinely curious. I don't have a very good answer. Well, maybe we can find a way back somehow. Maybe we're still in Carl's house right now. Carl's house. Maybe we can, like, wake ourselves up somehow. Hey, dude, we're all a little scared. We can talk about things. Carl looks past me and at Raven and Jenna. No rush. I'm actually starting to feel the same way. I feel my cheeks burn at the way I'm holding everyone back because I'm scared. So, when I had that guy in my head, I sort of felt like he was taking us somewhere. Carl runs the hand, not holding mine up on his horn, scratching at it. Like, at an endpoint, you know? Raven fidgets with one of his ears. Like a good endpoint? Yeah, I think so. That doesn't sound very convincing. You can stay here if you want, Otter. It takes me a second to realize she's talking to me. Is she really that gone? I just hope that if we reach the end of this, we can get her back somehow. Whoa, Jenna, that's crazy. I coughed to clear my throat. No, I'll go. I just wanted to think about it for a second. Have you thought about it then? Yeah. I look at Carl, but he only offers me a shrug and comforting rub on the shoulder. Well, if that's all then let's go. Jenna steps forward to grab the door handle, and I bite my tongue to keep from saying that we should wait again. The door swings open to reveal blackness, just like the last time. Unlike the last time, though, there's a spot of flickering light in the distance. The fire. Everything's quiet right now. No drumbeat, but the darkness is unnatural. It's inky and black like it's alive. I get the unnerving feeling that it's trying to eat the light coming from the fire. Maybe it's towards the fire. Jenna suddenly steps forward, and just like that, she's swallowed by the darkness. Jenna, wait! She ignores me. Carl gives his shoulders another shrug. Well, if she's being, persuaded, then I guess she probably knows where she's going. I see her form pass in front of the firelight a few times, then she's gone. Alright, here we go. Despite his nervousness, Raven still sounds cheerful about stepping into the oblivion. You ready, dude? I look over at Carl and he's gazing back at me warmly, with an encouraging smile on his face. Dude, I'm reaching my limits too. If we have to do another place like this. His ears droop, looking almost defeated. I nod, swallowing as quietly as I can. He pulls me into his side by a hand and wraps my arm around his shoulder. Just stay close, okay? Yeah. I step forward with him and immediately we're immersed in blackness. Not only do things go dark visually, but the change is physical too. I don't know if it's all in my head, but I feel heavier, like the darkness is pushing me down on my shoulders. It's colder too, to the point where I can feel the heat radiating off of Carl's body when I brush up against him. Hey, you doing okay, man? Yeah. You? Yeah, I'm good. The going is slow, and not just because of my injured, well, probably broken ankle. The ground is uneven and rocky, like we're outside walking in the desert, which I realize is exactly what we're doing when we walk straight into what feels like sagebrush. Carl thrashes around with his hand, not holding on to me, and we're able to sort of stumble around it. Where the hell are we? I mutter as I stub my toe painfully on a rock. Outside? Yeah, but where outside? The desert, right? So do you think that we're still in Echo? Carl's quiet for a moment. Maybe, but not really. I mean, I don't think we can just walk into our houses. I wonder if maybe all the others, TJ, Leo, and Flynn, are out here too in the darkness. I want to call out, but I'm too nervous that it's going to attract something to us. I still remember the black figure dancing around the fire we're walking towards at this very moment. We're close enough now that I'm starting to be able to make out Carl in the darkness. Okay, yeah. The hell? My mind flashes back to the black thing I'd seen crawling out of the wardrobe. Come on. I nudge into Carl's side, trying to get him to hurry along with the resisting urge to try and run for my twisted ankle. I'm realizing that it might come to that. Raven! Jenna! I call out in the darkness ahead of us, wanting to warn them. Over our ragged breathing, though, there's a dead silence all around us, except for a drum beat. Either they can't hear us, or they can't respond. Carl's gripping onto me with both of his hands, practically hauling me off my feet as he pulls me along. Suddenly, he stops. What the fuck am I doing? He lets me go and crouches down in front of me. On my way back! I'm there before he even finishes his sentence, and see my face is bouncing off his hard skull as he starts sprinting towards the fire. Whether it's in my head or not, I swear I can hear a slithering sound behind me like a snake sliding over dry leaves. I shiver, not wanting to look back, but I do anyway, trying to peer into the darkness. Of course I can't see anything, but I swear something flashes in front of the lone rectangle of light coming from the cabin's kitchen window. The rustling sounds getting louder, and now I can't pretend that I'm imagining it. It casts a picture into my mind, that black shadow creature contorting and bending through the sagebrush that Carl was having so much trouble moving through. I hold on to one of his horns and lean towards his ear. Carl, it's getting close, and then my stomach lurches, as if I feel the floor just suddenly drops away. Next thing I know, my nose smacks hard into the back of Carl's head before I flip over, landing on my back on what feels like a sea of sharp rocks. I lay there for a second, dazed, staring at the black ocean above me, wondering if any of this is real. Am I still dreaming? Maybe I'll just wake up in my dorm, probably late. Okay, yeah. Oh, fuck, are you okay? A muffled voice breaks through my haze of confusion and pain. Then I'm being yanked back up as Carl pulls me to my feet and clumsily shoves me back onto his back. Sorry. Shit, I'm so sorry. It's fine. I can barely mumble through my numb mouth, which feels like it's full of pennies. can see I'm making dark stains on the back of Carl's shirt. Feels like my face is caved in. I wonder if my nose is broken, but the fear of pursuit is returning and I quickly clutch at Carl's horns before he resumes his sprint. He finally comes to a stumbling point in front of the massive bonfire which had looked so small from the cabin. We both stare up at it, the heat almost unbearable. The whispers behind me reach a crescendo, the hissing just over my shoulder. Um, what are we supposed to do? My voice raises in pitch as I look back behind us, the black shape now discernible in the firelight as it slithers around the rocks and the sagebrush. It's like a person imitating a snake. I grip onto Carl as he turns to face it, then takes a step back, then another. I don't know. I cling onto the ram and I can feel him trembling underneath me. As the creature reaches the edge of the circle of the firelight, Carl runs. Carl turns and starts running past the fire. And then my muscles seize up, my jaw clenches, and my eyes roll back, and I feel myself falling backwards. The heat is almost unbearable, and my fur is damp from the sweat, the skin underneath itching and uncomfortable. Okay, yeah, so this is the same. A soft choking moan brings me back to the surface. I'm still hot and sweaty, but the blazing sun isn't shining in my face. I stare up at the ceiling, a textured beige ceiling. The chimes again. Yep. It doesn't matter because everything comes back to me at once. I feel like a lead weight has just dropped into my chest, knocking the wind out of me. I'm starting to convinced that this is never going to end. We're stuck in a loop, just like my dreams. Another moan, slightly weaker, makes me sit up. Oh yeah, this is where Jenna hangs herself, right? Oh boy. Dude, I still get chills from that. You know, like when all the music just stops and you just read that it's Jenna in the middle of the room and she's hanging from the noose, her muzzle tilted up so I'm able to clearly see the rope digging into the fur around her neck painfully tight. That still gives me the chills, dude. Okay. The game does its job well. It really does. Rocky, who was the person who was here earlier, he told me about this game, and he said it was like a psychological horror game too, which I'm starting to see now. And you know, we still got the rest of the characters to go through too. We still got like a long way to go. I look over at Carl and see that he's flat on his back. Oh wait, hold on, we missed something. Because we were the ones who grabbed the knife, right? Oh yeah. See, the dialogue is like a little bit different here. Especially with such a dark topic, the writing just makes it that much more spine-chilling. It really does. This game really does a job well done. And then suddenly the weight disappears, and I feel Jenna lift up several inches up into the air. I look up and see Carl next to me, his big arms easily able to keep the fox off the ground. Not only that, but he's got a knife in one hand. I recognize that it's the same knife that Carl had used earlier in the hallway. Carl! I sobbed with relief as he sets to sawing out the rope, as soon all three of us come crashing down as Jenna's cut free. Yeah, because last time Carl was just standing in the doorway and he didn't do anything, and we were the ones that picked up the knife. But since he's fighting the spirit this time, you know, he's actually helping out. I look over at Carl and see that he's flat on his back, his arms spread out. Thank you, Carl. I don't know what it would have done if you hadn't showed up. Carl raises his hand in acknowledgement. How the hell did you get a knife? Carl takes a few more gasps to catch his breath. I heard you guys and saw all that. He gestures up at the hanging rope at the end of it, frizzed out after the cut. I remember that knife that I dropped when we were here before. Thank God. We lay there a while longer, Jenna busy hacking at the rope, while Carl choosing to stare up at the ceiling. I imagine the other roots are gonna fuck you up bad. I mean, here's what people have told me, like at the very least, because I'm still like completely blind into this game. So, apparently, this is actually the easiest and the least disturbing story so far. Which, again, if this is not even gonna like hold a candle to what the other stories are like, because people have said that Leo's route is gonna fucking crush me, then I'm all for this. I am super excited. Okay, did a bit of a hydrate, but now let's continue. We'll lay there a while longer. Oh, the almost peaceful silence is shattered as the husky stumbles into the doorframe. Whoa, hey guys! He grins, waving a hand at us as he rights himself. He looks around at us, taking in the scene. The least disturbing? Yeah. So we're on Carl's route, right? And thank God that we decided to go with Carl first, because people did say that Carl's route is the ideal way to go. And it is not only the easiest route out of everyone that we have in our party, but it's also the least disturbing. So, again, I'm super excited to see what the other paths are like, as much as, like I'm scared to read the dialogue. Jenna got hanged. Carl cut her down. There's really no way to sugarcoat it. Oh, crap. He says wide-eyed at Jenna. Well, I guess it's surprising it wasn't me this time, huh? He lets out a high-pitched, nervous laugh. None of us even cracks a smile. You're okay, though, right? I'm fine. Raven looks around the room. Well, it looks like we're still here. Carl lets out a big, shuddery breath. I don't know if I can do this anymore. What do you mean? We're stuck. I don't know what else we're supposed to do. Just keep looking around. We're finding stuff, right? And then what? Get sucked into another fucked up place where we'll be chased around and almost killed? He waves his hand in Jenna's direction. Look what just happened. It wants us dead. Carl. I trail off. What? I try to think of something to say, anything that might convince the ram to keep going. Just a while ago, minutes, hours, days, I was having the same doubts. But for some reason, Carl's sudden demeanor of defeat has me more motivated. Because if Carl gives up, what else is there to keep me going? There's a soft snap, and I look over to see that Jenna's pulled the rope from her throat. How's your neck? Jenna rubs it. Fine. Her voice has an air of complete disinterest despite the situation. She seems distracted too, her eyes flicking around at the ceiling like she's expecting something to happen up there. Okay. I wish I had a joint. I feel a small flicker of annoyance. And how will that help anything? Carl is quiet for a moment, clearly sensing the change in my mood. I immediately regret it, but I don't have the energy to take it back. Because it might make me feel a little better. By making you feel less, we need to be alert right now so we can figure this out. So I bring my tone back to normal, realizing how unfair it would be if I got mad at Carl right now. I don't know if we can, though. Carl's lips tug down in a frown, and it looks like he's trying to keep himself from crying. Before I can say anything to comfort him, Jenna speaks up. You will. Her voice is dark, firm, and completely unlike the way Jenna has ever spoken before. We both look at her, and she sits there, legs crossed, staring hard at us. Well, at me. Carl sits up. Jenna? Jenna doesn't look at him. Instead, she keeps looking at me. John? Now she does look back at Carl, and it's out of instinct, her eyes darting to him before looking back at me. I recognize that it's almost unstoppable urge to look the way you hear your name being called. Yeah, we'd suspected, and that Jenna had been acting weird, but to think that she was that consumed by him. Carl glances at me meaningfully. We haven't asked her directly about it yet, so I guess now's the time. Hey, Jenna, are you feeling okay? I'm feeling fine. It's just that you haven't seemed like yourself for a while now. What do you mean? I look over at Carl as he shifts himself around on the floor. Listen, when we first got here, and even a little before then, I was feeling weird. Carl pauses as he seems to be searching for the right words. Sort of like something else had become a part of me. Jenna narrows her eyes at Carl but doesn't say anything. There was another voice in my head almost after a while, and I knew it was that guy James in my head. Sounds like you're going crazy. Carl frowns. Maybe, but he was making me act different, feel different, and it was kind of fucked up to be honest. Weird. Yeah, weird, but it was easy to get him out of my head. Carl points at his horns. And now, he's not there anymore. Jenna keeps that stern look on her face, frowning at Carl. What are you trying to say? Well, do you know a guy named John? John Begay? Not really. You keep mentioning him, but no one's told me who he is, aside from the fact that he was hanged. I remember the picture I'd taken of John back in Carl's crawl space. My hand feels my phone through my pocket as I almost reach in to pull it out before remembering that it's dead. He was in some of the pictures with James Hendricks, the founder of the town. Jenna stares at me blankly. James was Carl's ancestor, right? We think that John was your ancestor too. He was a fox and had the same last name. So? So wasn't your family an echo since the beginning? Yes. So it seems like you're probably related to him, then, right? Jenna stares hard at me, then at Carl. Our family doesn't have records like yours, Carl. Carl frowns again. You say that like it's my fault. Maybe it is. Carl starts to sputter again, but I cut him before he can defend himself. See? Jenna doesn't talk like that. You wouldn't say something like that. Jenna doesn't say anything, keeping her glare up at Carl. Carl clears his throat nervously. What I'm trying to say is maybe your ancestor is like in your head like mine was. I don't think so. Carl lets out a frustrated sigh. I mean, something's different with you, dude. I can see it. Chase sees it. I nod in confirmation. Raven suddenly cuts in. I mean, I don't know you that well, but if we're going to by how a normal person acts, you're not acting very normal. We're not in a normal situation like that, are we? Carl shakes his head. I know you can resist it like I did, Jenna. You always had a really strong mind, way stronger than mine. Carl swallows. So it shouldn't be a problem for you to stop it like I did. Jenna shrugs. Nothing's wrong with me, Carl. We all go quiet then. Besides, this isn't about clearing James' name or whatever. Isn't this about clearing James' name or whatever? Why are we talking about John? Jenna stares at Carl, eyes moving across his face like she's searching for something. Carl stares hard right back at her. Unless you don't want to fight it. Jenna's expression remains emotionless. I mean, are you letting him? I don't know, Carl. Are you letting him control you? No, I already told you I fought him out. How do we know that's true? Carl throws his hands up. Dude, why would I lie? Carl looks at me for some help. Yeah, Carl's way different than he was earlier. He's himself now. But how do you know that? I don't know what else to say to Jenna to convince her. Of course, I can't be completely sure. The only person that can know is Carl. He says that he isn't possessed anymore, and I trust him on that. Jenna, he isn't. I promise. You think James kept his promises? Carl and I share a look. Jenna, what do you mean by that? A strange look crosses Jenna's face, breaking out as the stoic detachment that she's been portraying for the last however long it's been. It's confused, but also like she wants to say something with her mouth open. Jenna? She seems to be frozen like that for a moment before she seems to finally give up, shaking her head. I don't know. She glares at Carl. He blanches defensively. What? You keep acting like this is my fault. Well, maybe it is. This time Raven cuts in before Carl can say anything. Is James stopping John from saying anything? I watch Jenna closely, and that's when she finally looks away. I don't know. Jenna, are John and James upset with one another? Jenna shrugs, not looking at me. Carl lets out a sigh of frustration. Jenna, we need to figure this out. Listen, I don't know much about these guys, but it sounds like James and John are trying to tell us something. Raven looks back and forth between Carl and Jenna, and trying to stop the other one from telling us something. I rubbed my face with my hands, feeling frustrated, just wishing these two assholes could just tell us what they want to say. So they're trying to tell us something about the past, and they both don't want us to know what the other knows. Maybe that's what we're supposed to figure out. So it's not as simple as just clearing James's name. John had something to say too, and he sure as hell wants us to hear it. I closed my eyes. We're stuck in the middle of a possessed ghost fight with each of them trying to tell us their version of a story? The whole thing seems ridiculous, insane, but I really don't have anything else to go off of. Did you find anything about them in the crawl space? I tried to think back. Like I've said, they both got convicted of sodomy. John was hanged, and James left to start his ice cream business. So why wasn't James hanged too? His influence in the town, probably. Well, I can see how that might cause problems between the two of them. I look over at Carl, who's looking back at Jenna. Jenna's picking up at the rope in her lap. Hey, did James tell you anything while you were under his influence? Like, did he say anything? Carl rubs his chin. Not really, it's weird. I just sort of felt different. I said things I wouldn't normally say, but I guess I never heard any voices. There isn't much to talk about at this point, unless one of the spirits decides to do something else that can help us along somehow. So, what are we supposed to do next exactly? Raven points at the back of the room. There's a door there. We all look in the... Okay, yeah. Was that there before? I think I would have seen it the first time I looked in. Jenna stands up, taking a few steps towards the door. What, so we're just gonna go through another door? Carl is laying back down on the floor on his back, staring up at the ceiling again. I can understand where he's coming from. Another door to possibly another nightmare. But his sudden reluctance is making it easier for me to find the strength to keep going. I reach out, resting a hand on his. Carl, this might be the last one. It might be the way out. Carl snorts. Seriously, dude? You think they're just gonna let us go? We've accomplished nothing. We can leave here if you prefer. I glare at Jenna, but she's not even looking at me, instead staring at the concrete door. Carl, we have to keep moving. If we go through another door here, we're at least going somewhere. Yeah, besides, the bad stuff has only happened to me and Jenna, so you guys probably have nothing to worry about. We can't stay here forever. I gently stroked the back of... Whoops, I did not mean to have that. I just heard like I was just checking through my telegram and I didn't expect my phone to play that, but okay. I gently stroked the back of Carl's furry hand. He laughs again. Maybe we could just keep pulling grilled cheese out sandwiches in the cupboard. Carl props himself up on his elbows. Who knows? Maybe I can get some weed out of there. Carl looks back into the hallway, apparently seriously considering that. Come on, man. We're all going in this together. I reach out to both my hands to him, expectantly since I can't get up on my own. Carl then stares at them contemplatively. Ugh. I can't pronounce that. Then finally gets to his feet while pulling me up to his back with a loud grunt. Alright, man, but if this freaky spooky ghost dimension goes on to another fucking door, I'm gonna pull a joint from the magic cupboard. Of course. Jenna's already standing in front of the door. Man, I don't want to pass out again. We just did that. I look back towards the hallway. You know, maybe we should check the rest. Jenna reaches forward to grab up the metal handle, and before any of us can say anything more, she yanks it open. The trail leads to the desert landscape, and cacti and boulders obscure my view on either side. Okay, yeah, so this is all the same. You'll always be walking in circles, yada yada. To the right. Past that. Music swings a hand to slap at me, but persists until his voice is set up, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Jenna and Raven stir next to him. What is it? What happened? Guys, we're back. We're in your house, Carl. Carl finally snaps his eyes open at that. Raven sits up next to Carl, and I see him sway with the same dizziness that I had had earlier. Where are we? My parents' room. Carl's voice is hushed, quiet, as if he's afraid if he speaks too loudly that this will all disappear. Relief like I've never known before flows through my body. Whether or not it was a dream or a hallucination, or we were drugged somehow, it didn't matter. What matters is that now we're home. Well, an echo at least. I look over at Jenna, hoping to see her back to her old familiar self, but I find her staring around suspiciously, that dark look still in her eyes. I touch down with my good foot, and I'm surprised when my toes come in contact with the cold hardwood floor. Okay, yeah. Something's a little off, man. What? Something's wrong. I feel the beginnings of that sinking sensation in my chest again. Why? My parents' room isn't this big. I look around. I guess it does look a bit bigger than usual. The balcony seems to be the right size, though. The floor. He points at my feet. Where's the carpet? Carl confirms my suspicions. The dread continues to grow in my stomach. Maybe they took the carpet out while we were gone. No one responds to that ridiculous idea. Jenna looks at the wall behind the bed and reaches out a hand to touch it tentatively. Carl lets out a loud, almost maniacal laugh. It's like I'm in a weird dream in my house or something. Carl pushes himself off the bed, his hooves clapping loudly, unnervingly against the hardwood floor that shouldn't exist. Fuck. Yeah. Fuck. I can see the same emotions that I feel in my chest playing out in Carl's eyes right now. He reaches out to give me some support. Well, maybe there are other people here. Even Raven's cheerful tone is forced and strained. I guess I was expecting that we'd end up in another dream world or whatever. But the fact that I thought just for a moment that we were back in the real world made all this more soul-crushing. I feel like those fucking ghosts are toying with us at this point. I take a deep breath, willing myself to not lose it. Not yet, at least. Chase, I'm gonna move to the deck. I get a better grip onto Carl's side as he starts to move toward the glass doors, his hooves clapping while I help along. He stares out, slowly reaching with a hand to tug at the handle. To my surprise, it opens. I guess I thought it would be the same as the last place that we were in, that we'd be locked in or something. I follow Carl as he steps onto the balcony, taking slow, careful steps as if afraid that the deck may give out. Here's all... Okay, yeah. What the hell? Carl almost whines out the words as he gripped tightly onto the railing. I move closer to his side, putting an arm around his shoulders. Come on, man. We're gonna figure this out. This is just... I struggle to figure out what this just is, but I come up short. Listen, I saw this in a dream. I think they were trying to tell me something. What dream? A dream I had before I woke up. I have them almost every time we pass out. Why are you the only one having these dreams? I jump as Jenna speaks right behind me. I turn around, finding her eyeing me suspiciously. I don't know. None of you had dreams? I did. Raven pops his head from around the glass door, still with that bizarrely resilient grin on his face. But it was about that black shadow creature thing chasing me through the kitchen, so I guess that's not really useful. What did you see in your dream, Chase? Well, I waved my hand out into alternate reality town. But then the mine too, like red stuff spread out of it, over the town, and I saw a noose. Wait. Down there? I think so. The utter look, defeat in Carl's face has me hesitating to confirm it. What the fuck? I take a deep breath, trying to put what I feel into words. That dream, the way it zeroed onto the tree, it felt meaningful. I think we need to go to it. Jesus, why? Carl buries his face in his hands as he leans against the railing, shaking his head slowly from side to side. I don't know, but I don't know where else to start. This place is massive. So what, they just put another letter for us to find for some reason? Maybe. Guys? Carl keeps his head in his hands as I turn around. Raven's still standing by the glass door, but he's looking back into the room. Jenna laughed. What? Sure enough, Jenna's nowhere to be seen. Where did she go? Raven shrugs. Downstairs, I guess. Is she going to the tree? I start to move back into the house, then remember about my destroyed ankle. I look back and see that Carl is still slumped against the railing. Carl? He doesn't look up. Carl, we need to keep moving. Finally, the ram pulls his head out of his arms and turns to help me. He gets into our familiar position, with me clinging to his neck while I hop along. Oh, whoops. I didn't mean to press that.
Self-voicing disabled.
Didn't mean to press that. I'm relieved he's actually moving, but I don't like the dull look in his eyes one bit. Raven, Carl, and I head down to the hall towards the stairs. Carl's right. It's like a dream of Carl's house. Carl mentions that there's a few extra doors, all of which lead into bare hardwood floor rooms. The ground level of the house, though, mostly looks normal. As we make our way to Carl's sort of home, I realize something. You guys hear the trains when we were on the deck? Maybe. Why? I thought it did. It's kind of weird. Like, what are those trains doing in a world that really isn't real? Maybe it is real. Maybe. I'm not convinced. As we pass through the living room, I can see that it's set up like it always is, and the kitchen looks to be in order as well. Okay, this is the same. Does he say anything? Okay, no, he doesn't. Man, it's so fucking close to being real, this place. Yeah, I don't have much else to add, but he's right. It feels so close to being home, but none of it is home. I slow my pace as I turn right at the end of Carl's driveway, practically tugging the ram along. We move to the short distance down the road, then we move to the edge of the left side of the road. I look down over the side onto the rocky sagebrush and covered slope. And there's Jenna. Somehow she immediately found it on her own. The old and rickety wooden platform sits under the tree. This tree and the platform definitely aren't in the real echo. There's a few scant mentions of a hanging tree in my research. If it was still standing, I'd have to go on to get some film for my project. That project seems like something I was working on years ago at this point. I carefully start to climb down the slope, clinging to Carl. I'm about to call it to Jenna when I stop cold. As we moved to the side, the thick trunk of the tree shifted into my field of view and revealed the noose. Unlike my dream, the noose isn't empty. Hanging from the noose is a body. From where I'm standing, I can't see exactly what it is. It's back to us, and all I can make out is a head, hands, and feet, and some old-fashioned clothes, overalls, and a cotton shirt of some kind. The clothes look worn out and old, like they've been sitting in the elements for years. I stop moving instead, staring at the body. Carl freezes too, and I can feel his ragged breathing in my ear. Jesus. Carl gasps. I stare for what feels like an entire minute before I find my voice. Jenna? She's also facing the body, so I can't see her face, but she holds up a hand towards me to quiet me before slowly pacing around the platform. It looks like she's moving towards the front, so I steel myself and slowly follow her. I don't want to look at the body as they move, but I can't tear my eyes away. It's old. Very old. The fur is mostly gone, and the skin underneath black and leathery. The face is drooping and sunken, the eyelids are closed. It's been out in the sun for a very long time. I don't know much about corpses, so I don't know how long. I just know it's been a very long time. For what I can tell, it's a canine of some kind. A fox? John? For some reason I look towards Jenna to see if she'll let us know who it is. She doesn't, instead just staring at the body. Carl tightens his grip around my shoulders. I'm not sure if it's for support against the uneven ground or the horror in front of us. Raven has chosen not to follow. Instead he stands back behind the platform looking away from the body. I swallow hard, trying to keep my nerves under control, trying to look at the situation like it's a simple task. Do you guys see anything? A note or something? I try to search the platform and avoid looking up at the body. There's something in its mouth. Carl points up at the corpse with a shaking finger. He's right. There's a flash of white in the mouth of the corpse, just barely sticking out of what looks like gnarled teeth. A piece of paper, maybe. I'm surprised at how successful I am at keeping my voice calm. I sort of feel a little numb to all of this now. But I think we both realize at the same time what this means. We're gonna have to actually get that piece of paper. Fuck, man. Why did they have to do this? Why do we have to do this? Why don't they just tell us what they want us to know? I cling to Carl as much as he's clinging to me, trying to keep him calm. Listen, I'll get it. It's just a body. No, it's not. Nothing's just as it is in this fucked up place. Jenna suddenly turns to the two of us, causing both of us to flinch back from her. Chase, you need to get it. Why? He can't even fucking walk. I can crawl. He had the dream. They want him to be the one to get it. He volunteered anyway. That doesn't make sense. It makes perfect sense. Why the hell won't you get it? Carl had adjusted himself so he's standing halfway in front of me protectively. Because that's what they want. That's bullshit. If you knew something, Jenna, then why don't you fucking tell us? That's true. Carl's snarling at Jenna now, which is all the more impressive because rams can't snarl. We can't be doing this right now. Here we are in this fucked up dimension in front of a mummified corpse, arguing. I put my hand against Carl's chest. Listen, I'll get it. This is what they want, and this will help us move forward. I try not to think about actually going to the wooden steps to stand in front of that corpse, but I don't really have any other options right now. Carl doesn't loosen his hold on me. Fuck no. Jenna, you get it since you seem to know what the fuck is going on. Carl squeezes me tighter against his chest as he leans to glare at Jenna. Jenna glares right back, and I can see her lips trembling. She appears to be holding back her own snarl. Stop it, Carl. Let me go. I'm gonna get the paper. No, Chase. Carl, nothing bad has happened when it comes to getting these stupid pieces of paper. I'll be fine. Carl looks down at me, his face etched with stubborn resoluteness. It's at least a nice change from the almost dead look that I'd seen earlier. He stares at me for a good long while, to the point where I almost blush until finally... Fine, but I'm coming up with you. I don't think... Shut up, Jenna. Each word seems to have worked hard to get out of Carl's muzzle. It's okay. Let's go. I let Carl hold my hand as we both moved towards the platform over the uneven ground. I noticed Raven standing off to the sidewalk, still facing away from us. I'd have to check on him later. The wood creaks softly under our feet as we make our way up the steps. I focus on my hopping foot, not wanting to look at the body. Once we reach to the top, though, I realize I'm going to have to. Leaning heavily against Carl for support, I look up. The corpse's eyes are open now. Two yellow piercing eyes that have sunk deep into the skull stare back at me. Oh! I do not like that picture in my head. I cannot stress it enough. I do not like that image in my head. Hello there, is this Glizzy? How's it going? Sure, of course you can ask me something. I mean, just make sure that it's, civil. What would you do in this situation? You go out to drink, so you black out and you wake up before... Really? Ah, I fucking knew it. How did I guess? How did I guess? Well, with that out of the way, let's continue. Just a regular Sunday, right? Oh. Oh, this dialogue is also different now. For telling your own truth. You don't know my story. My truth. Your truth is a delusion. You cruel, filthy son of a bitch. What do you want from me? I want justice. You and your people don't know the meaning of the word. Just let it rest and let me rest. And you leave me restless? Murderer. You may not have killed me physically, but you murdered my life, you fucking... The otter hears us. So, if he hears us, then he wants it. If he hears us, then it wants him to. Why does it? You think I know? Why does it create these places? Let us do small things and take it away. It's a game. My life, my reputation, it's a game to it. A game. Go on. Why don't you tell me your truth? The otter works with you. I wouldn't help him even if I could. But you can, can't you? You are but smoke. Good thing too. You and your fucking lies. I'll tell him this. Otter, you're stuck here because you cannot see the truth, and until you do, how will he know the truth if you only lie? You're disgusting. I'm 9 or 10 and I'm sitting under a tree in the forest. I like the feeling you get when you finished crying. The stuffed up nose and throbbing in my head, along with feeling of having just run 10 miles. Like I've just finished something really hard and now it's over. And then, a creak in the branches above me. I look up and see the fox, hanging from a rope. His dead eyes are on me. Why don't you get your ass up here and dig it out yourself then? He's awake. Chase? A big hand is cradled below my head as I stare at the horns waving around above my eyes. Between them hangs the fox. Hey, you okay? What happened? I don't know, there were eyes? I stare harder at the fox, but the eyes are closed. Yeah, me too, but you just sort of fell back. Sorry I dropped you and I think you hit your head. That would explain the headache. My head throbs each heartbeat. Why didn't you grab the letter, Chase? Are you kidding me? I flinch at Carl's loud voice and the spit that flecks from my face. Hey DJ, how's it going? Welcome on in. The Blep Squad welcomes you in. Hope you're doing good. He just passed out, and that thing had something to do with it. Like I said, dig it out of the fucking mouth if you want to. Dig what out? I crane my head painfully to look at Jenna. She stands in the exact same spot, staring stoically. Raven has moved to the stand next to her, but now his eyes are wide, staring at the fox. I turn my head back towards the hanging fox, and that's where I see that the letter's gone. Where'd it go? I push myself up, cringing as once again I forget about my ankle. Carl hurriedly fusses around me, helping me stand. I keep my eyes on the fox the entire time, but I don't see any signs of life. What happened? You fell. No, the fox. What happened to the letter? He ate it. What? How? It, just sort of gobbled it up. Carl's free hand gestures at the mouth. God. I lean forward against the ram's cheek as I close my eyes. So, are we not supposed to read it? Raven's voice is small and quiet, nothing like his usual self, even during the time we spent here. No one says anything for a while. I clear my throat. I think I heard John and James when I was out. What? What did they say? I think John and James are influencing some of this, but there's something else controlling all of it. How? I don't know how, but it's stopping them from telling us what they want to say. Like this is a game for it. I feel Carl shake his head against my head. So what are we supposed to do? Just figure out the game, I guess. They said something about having us to see the truth, but I'm not exactly sure of what that is. But the fox just ate our clue. That might have been one of them. James, John, I don't know. Do we just find another one then? I don't say anything because that's when I see the hint of white sticking out from the fox's pocket. I point. What's that? What? That, sticking out of the chest pocket. Huh? Carl moves a bit closer, pulling me along tentatively. Raven calls anxiously from behind us. What are you guys doing? Carl's voice gets tighter, more nervous as he reaches out with a shaky hand. I keep my eyes focused on the pocket, not wanting to look into those eyes as they open up again. Carl touches the chest, yanking back his hand once before slowly going in again. His face turns towards mine, cringing as he tries to look and not look at the same time. He fumbles at the pocket for a moment, the fox swaying just slightly from the ram's poking fingers. Finally, after what seems like several eternities, Carl manages to get the grip on the note. Once he does, he yanks his hand back, almost hitting the fox's muzzle as he slides the letters free from the pocket. Okay, let's go. Carl gently but quickly guides me down the stairs. Jenna eyes what's in Carl's hand suspiciously. What's that? Another letter or something. Where did you get that? The fox ate it earlier. I saw it sticking out of the pocket. I guess it was another one. Jenna goes quiet and her expression darkens. I'm about to ask her what's wrong, but Carl's already unfolding the paper, swinging the hand, holding it to try to make it unfold. I help him out with my own free hand and hold the letter between us. I notice that the bottom of the paper has a rough tear, like someone's torn it in half. Jenna and Raven move in closer opposite to us. Please, please let this be the last one that gets us back. It doesn't look like a letter. In fact, it looks like a newspaper clipping. Well, a photocopied one anyway. Carl, I think this came from your mom's collection of artifacts. I remember some pages were ripped out of the scrapbooks. Really? Yeah, I thought it was you taking them. Nope. I wonder how long ago this nightmare actually started. It seems that it had been setting itself up days before we fell into this place. Well, I guess I'll give it a read. Hopefully this is the last one. I start with the big bold title. Echo researcher uncovers town serial killer past. Most might know that Trisha Henricks as the CEO of Hen's Ice Cream, but Echo locals will know her to be an avid story buff as well. I just love how it connects all of us, how it shows that everything has happened for a reason. But even then, she didn't realize what her search would uncover. According to Hendricks, the town's founder James had an affair with another man, and they both had been hiding a dark secret. You never know what you'll find out, but to think that James had a homosexual relationship with an alleged serial killer, well, that's really something. According to Hendricks' research, James may have been in a romantic relationship with a native fox by the name of John Begay. Town records indicate that Begay was accused of committing multiple child murders. Hendricks say the crimes were in sexual nature. I reach the bottom of the page where the rough tear begins. Clearly there's more to the article, but... Jenna! What the hell? Jenna. I'm about to ask what she's doing, but I think she's already attacking because I think she's attacking the newspaper for some reason. But then her intentions become clear as she moves towards us with the knife, her eyes set on Carl. Jenna, stop! Raven bounces up and down, his hands pulling out his ears. Carl moves back as fast as he can while I limp along. Jenna, what are you doing? Jenna lunges at us, the knife arching down from above again. This time she's too close and Carl pushes me to the side as he jumps back. I go down on my butt on the rocky ground. Putrid lying beast, where's my letter? I don't know. What did I do? Carl's stuttering, stumbling, and eyes wide with terror. I don't even know if he's going to defend himself when Jenna gets to him. With a muffled scream, I push myself onto my feet and hobble after them, each step sending an electric lances of pain to the back of my brain. I don't have time to dwell on it though, because that's when Jenna reaches Carl. She grabs one of his horns and yanks him close, Carl swinging his fists wildly in her direction. It's a valiant effort, but Carl is not a fighter, and aside from letting out a few grunts, Jenna isn't affected. She raises the knife just as I reach them. No, stop! Ooh. Hold on. We gotta do another save. What was that one? We'll overwrite that save. Okay. Okay, I was wondering why that second one looked familiar. Okay, just to make sure, we're gonna overwrite the save on that. Jenna with the knife kind of became a meme. Really? Alright, we're gonna push Jenna. Carl, watch out! I yell as loud as I can before giving the fox the hardest shove I can give. I do it at an angle so she doesn't directly hit Carl. Carl leaps to the side as I slam into her, sending Jenna forward to faceplant into the rocks and dirt. I reach out to Carl just as Raven goes blurring past to me. He leaps onto Jenna, pinning her down. Go, just go, we'll figure something out later, but you need to get away, Carl. Raven snarling as he tries to keep Jenna pinned, something that doesn't match his cheerful face at all. Carl stumbles to his feet, then turns and starts jogging away. Carl, wait, help me up. Carl seems to hesitate before finally turning around, leaning over to help pick me up. And with that, we limp away, toward the road. I think we're heading toward the mansion again, but Carl turns us toward the road to the town instead. The growls and snarls get fainter behind us, and I start to worry about what's going to happen to Raven. Hopefully Jenna just stops once Carl's out of sight. He seems to be the only thing she's interested in right now. Carl breathes raggedly in my ear over the sound of his stumbling clops and my dragging shuffles. Carl, you want to go back to your house instead? Carl doesn't respond, and I look over to see him, straight ahead, eyes fixed on nothing. Carl? He gives his head a little shake, so I go back to staring at my own feet. My ankle is numb at this point, which I guess is better than the lancing pain I had earlier. We're further down the road now to the point where I can't hear Jenna or Raven anymore. Going this way might have been a good idea, since Jenna will probably end up going back to the mansion. Does she need time to cool down? And where are we supposed to go now? I'm starting to realize that what just happened is going to affect everything. How are we even going to be near each other now? Jenna just tried to kill Carl. Jenna? Or John? I feel a sudden burst of anger towards him. A fucking serial killer possessing her, forcing her to do this shit. Carl's breathing is getting more ragged. I look over at him again, and I'm not really surprised to see tracks of tears down on his face. Carl, do you need to sit down a second? Take a rest? Rocky, hi! Welcome on in! Welcome back, buddy. Okay, let's actually go back to this save here, where we do have the choice. What happens if we grab Jenna? I need to pull her away from Carl. I reach out, grabbing the fox by the back of her shirt and yanking as hard as I can. Jenna falls back and unexpectedly turns to me as she does. A deep, penetrating bolt of pain. Ooh! Oh shit, she stabbed us. Oh shit. Chase! Carl screams my name as I go down to my knees, both hands pressed to my chest. Chase! Chase! I hear Carl stumbling down as Jenna turns back around towards the ram. I look up to Carl, trying to ask for help, tasty blood in my mouth. But Carl isn't looking at me. He's stumbling around looking everywhere except for where I am, while at the same time trying to dodge Jenna. Where is he? I raise a hand trying to show him. Maybe it's too dark. At that moment, Raven, almost invisible in the darkness, tackles Jenna to the ground. Stop it! Stop it! This is crazy! Please, just stop! He pins her down easily. Chase! I force myself to stand, panicking now. The throbbing in my chest is different, odd, like something deep inside me has been hit. Help me. I stumble toward Carl, but he moves further away from me. Chase! He's crying now, but he can't see me. I look behind me, seeing the few lights of Echo, all the normal buildings under moonlight. I'm back, but I'm dying, and Carl can't see me. I need to get help. I stumble towards the hill, shakily trying to climb up the incline of rocks and dirt. My shirt is soaked and it clings to my body like a second skin. Each pulse in my heart sends a wave of warmth over my chest and stomach. If I can just get to Carl's house and I can call someone, I can get to the top of the slope onto the actual road. There's a pop in the distance. A gunshot. Did you stab him? Raven! There's blood on the knife! Oh my god! Carl's screams make me want to turn back around, but I can only get to the house, get a phone. Wait, what? Everything's getting hazy. My eyes, my legs are like lead. I can't even feel my ankle anymore. My ears seem to clog up and my breathing slows down. All I can hear is my heartbeat in the ears and the breathing both getting weaker. Darkness creeps in on the edge of my vision. Something lays on the road in front of me, and my legs give out as I pass it. Slumped on my knees, I look at it and see a weasel. Duke? I can't tell because most of his face is missing and there's a little plastic thing stuck in the bloody mess. I don't really care though. Everything feels peaceful for once. Quiet and peaceful. I stare down at my chest, watching as blood pumps out with each heartbeat, standing all the way down to my knees now. The tunnel gets tighter. I sway, and I fall. Into nothing. That's a horrible way to go. Well, thank God that we made a save here because, oh my god. That is like the worst ending. That is literally the worst ending to this freaking scene that I've ever had. I've never seen that ending. Well, thank God that... See, this is what I meant when I said we should, like, do multiple saves in case, we get, like, different choices because... Wow, that ending sucked. Like, not in a bad way either. Like, that was a... Wow. I didn't expect that we'd be the one stabbed. But wow. That was worse than the last ending. That was just sad. Horrific and sad. Okay. Carl, do you need to sit down a second? Take a rest? A few seconds later, Carl stops abruptly next to a small boulder, and I allow myself to be sat down on it. The ram doesn't sit down with me, though. Instead, he starts pacing back and forth in front of me, occasionally wiping his face with his arm. Carl, sit down. I don't know what you do, Chase. Neither do I. Just sit down for a second, No, I don't know if we'll ever get out of here. Carl sobs and goes into a coughing fit. No, come on. We're doing good. We're at least getting somewhere. Is that an Aquos in the chat? Is that an Aquos wolf in the chat? Aquos! The Blepper welcomes you! How's it going, buddy? It's great to have you here with us. It goes good? That's good to know, buddy. Yeah, we're just playing Echo right now. We just went through like one of the worst endings that we could have had to this entire novel. So we're continuing down on a different path on Carl's path, if that makes sense. To hopefully get a better ending. So technically there's 2 bad endings to this and then 1 good ending. So that's good to know. Where? This could go on forever. You don't know. I look up at the ram, trying to think of something comforting to say. Chase, I can't do this. I need a second. Carl turns and starts walking further down the road. Carl, wait, we shouldn't split up. Hang on. I stand up unsteadily, leaning over to rest a hand on the rock as I watch Carl continue his trek down the road toward the town. Just wait. I need a moment. I'll be back. Carl! I feel myself start to panic as I stumble after him. I realize that not only am I afraid for Carl for what might happen to him if he runs off into this fake world, but I'm also afraid of being alone without Carl. Worst ending? You haven't. Hey, listen, mister. I know that this story, like, at least for Carl's path, it's not gonna be as bad, but, well, technically, according to everyone that I met who's played Echo, this isn't even as bad as the others, so, if y'all are gonna get freaking crush me in these stories, then I'll be ready for it. I hobble after him, but I realize immediately that I'm not gonna catch up. I watch him get further and further away down the middle of the road. I wheeze, clutching my chest as I try to keep up, the sides of my vision starting to turn white. I'm not sure what it is, the panic, my breathlessness, or the world itself, but the whiteness seems to pulse with the faint sobs of the ram in front of me. Slowly the white takes over, and I'm in fog. Oh! There's a distant, rhythmic pounding that sounds like a gong. Where have I heard it before? I feel a twinge of worry in my chest that I'm going to be late for my next class. Class? Oh yeah, school! That's the clock tower that chimes every hour. Freezing cold leaks through my fur and stings at my nose. I bring my hands up to rub at my shoulders, shivering. The ground is covered in snow, even though it never snows here. At least, not this much. We had a flurry once a few years ago, and even that was a surprise. But here it is, piled up on the ground. My mind is still catching up to me, feeling as if I've woken up in a dream. Fuck, what happened? Carl. I was chasing after Carl on the road. It all comes back to me slowly. I was going after Carl after Jenna tried to... I hear clopping up ahead of me. My head snaps up, looking up into the fog, unable to see clearly through it. Hello? Carl? My voice echoes into the emptiness of the university. Pueblo University. It feels like I haven't even been here in months, rather than just a week. I rub my shoulders again before padding up slowly to one of the buildings. The pain in my ankle now is a dull, throbbing feeling, almost like it's dead. That doesn't seem like a good thing, but at least I can walk. It's just that I have to limp, feeling like I'm walking with a giant log instead of a leg. I focus on the building in front of me. I don't remember this one. In fact, I don't really remember any of them. The buildings are different shapes, just built with the same materials and colors of the buildings at the university. I reach out, grasping at the handle. It's locked. I stare at the door for a while, unsure of what to do. More distant clopping up the sidewalk gets my attention, so I start moving in that direction again. Carl? I call more softly now because I'm starting to feel afraid of where I am. While I can't see anyone, the fur on my neck is prickling, like I'm somehow extremely vulnerable. I guess the only thing I know for sure is about this ordeal is that nothing is as it seems, and for some reason I don't feel like I'm in a safe place. Okay. Okay, you were never there for me, you know. I jump. Carl? The only response is silence. At least it sounded like Carl. Sort of. It was crackly and muffled like it was coming through a phone. I start to jog up the sidewalk and notice that I'm stepping through snow, like it's not really there either. We're not gonna hurt ya. God, I do not like it when novels, like, especially in like these, in like horror novels like this, I hate it when, when like, they change up the font. Like, it just, ugh. I hated it when they did it in Doki Doki Literature Club, and I hate it that they're doing it in here. A voice comes right over my shoulder, and I cringe and let out a yelp, stumbling into my run to turn and face whatever just whispered into my ear. I stare at nothing. It had that same crackly mechanical sound to it. My fur is now standing up all over my body, and I rub at my shoulders again, hugging my chest. A soft sound, maybe a footstep behind me, makes me whirl around in the other direction to find more emptiness. I stifle a whine and start trotting up the sidewalk again. This place is different. Something about this place is dangerous. It's unlike the mansion, or the cabin, or even being next to the hanging guy. Something could hurt me here. I don't know how I know, but I know it. Carl? My voice is getting more desperate. I've never felt more alone. Right now, more than anything, I just want to find Carl. You want me to be there for you? I jump, but keep jogging, basically hopping with the way my leg isn't working at all. That's funny. Font changing is important in this game, not much of a scared. Yeah, I know, like, maybe, like, it can signal something, but I just hate it when, like, I don't know, like, to me, like, font changes in horror games, especially like this, they do, like, sort of play like a scare tactic, too. The sidewalk starts to curve and I come up on the school's pond. I whisper to myself, fuck, where are you? As I keep walking to the ground, the ground no longer feels smooth. Instead, I feel little pointed bits of rock sticking into my feet pads, even though there's smooth pavement when I look down at the ground. I pass a little stone bench, one that Carl liked to sit on back when he was at school with me in the first semester. So more worst ending than that, huh? Well, I guess we found one more worst ending. I just can't, man. I just wish I could, but every stupid fucking thing I say is so stupid. Trust me, man, it's not. I left my hands up to my throat, shocked because I definitely didn't say that. My voice is coming through like the others, muffled, distant from the direction of the bench. You don't understand. It's like I can't stop going over what I say to people. Then I just worry about it for days after. Well, just don't. Just forget about it. Right. Seriously, man. No one cares. Just don't worry about it, okay? Yeah, okay. I turn around, moving back to the way I came, not wanting to hear those voices coming from the bench. I move back to where I was and I look around. The sidewalk branches off in several different directions and I have no idea which one to take. You weren't there for me. What? I stand there for a moment, feeling the panic starting to rise. What's the matter, cunt face? We're not gonna hurt you. That's not Carl, and that's not me. I'm hearing things. I close my eyes, hugging my chest again, stifling my breathing. Stilling my breathing. Softer clopping sounds come from my left. I open my eyes and immediately move in that direction. Hey, we're just playing. I grit my teeth and mumble to myself. I was a kid. What was I supposed to do? There was no response as I keep moving. Oh, shit. A loud pop makes me jump and cover my head. What the hell was that? Is that a gunshot? I crouch on the sidewalk, looking left and right, but not seeing anyone. Was someone shooting at me? It seemed kind of far away. Whatever it was, just sitting here probably isn't going to help me, so I start moving again, a little faster, half bent over. Yeah, that did spook me for a second. I didn't expect that freaking pop to come up. Jeez. To my left, I see a football stadium rising up to the fog. I'd gone there for a few games, and a dance that held for the field of that homecoming. Dude, I'm not feeling very good. Wanna go back and play something? Come on, I told you not to be like this. Can't really help it, man. Just tough it out another hour. Nah, man, I'm gonna head back. Alright then. Alright, later. Is he like going through like older memories when they were in school or something? At least that's what I'm trying to get out of it. Ah, heck, I've been booped by the axle. I've been booped by that frickin' axle. Durgy wolf. Drolf. Eh. But how's it going, buddy? It's good to see ya. I keep going, whispering to myself to Carl. Is that you, Carl? Can you actually hear me? No response. I keep going, listening for clops. When I hear them, I follow. After what seems like about 10 minutes, I come up to a smaller building, the one that the path leads directly into. I slow my pace as I come up to it, staring at the door. I listen for a long while, but there aren't any more clops. I reach out and rest my hand on the handle, then give a slight pull, expecting it to be locked, but it inches open smoothly. Staring for a while longer, I finally pull the door open and find our old dorm room. Like the things in this nightmare, it isn't exactly the same. A Drusky? Yeah! Because you are part West, too. Yep, he's a Drusky. Because Axel is part Durgan. He's part Durg. Actually, it's probably about 3 times longer, like it's the interior of a stretch limo or something. At the very end of it, I see Carl splayed out on one of the beds. It doesn't have a mattress in it, so he's just laying on a flat board. Slowly, I hobble over to him. He's staring up at the ceiling, and I'm kind of surprised to see a slight smile on his face. Hey, Carl? Carl looks over at me, surprised. Whoa, hey dude, what's up? He laughs over the last few words. I stare at him. What, are you okay? Actually, yeah, I kinda am. Dragon Husky Wolf. Okay, yeah. Are you sure? I move over to the opposite bed. My old bed. Yeah, for the first time all week, actually. I push myself up onto the bed, which is off the ground a good 3 feet more at the university. My feet dangle over the edge. Is your ankle okay? I told you to wait. I just needed a minute. I'm a Wesky that wants to be part dragon. Yeah, I think that's a cool combination. I frown. Seriously? You just left me there in a place with smoke monsters. Carl grimaces. Yeah, sorry about that. What happened? I slide around in the bed to face the ram, noticing that while they're tall, they're a lot shorter in length. Short enough that Carl's hooves stick over the edge. Well, Jenna tried to kill me. I rub my shoulder, looking away. Yeah, but you know she's not in her right mind right now. We're talking about how maybe John... Oh, it's definitely John. James tried to do the same thing to me. Yeah, I was gonna ask what it was like. Carl pokes... Carl pokes at the wall above his head, tapping it with his finger. Well, he basically told me that I needed to find some stuff out, keep lies from getting out, and he couldn't tell me why. I wonder what John's telling Jenna. Carl shrugs. I mean, it can't be that good if he's a serial killer. Yeah. Another period of silence. I don't mind it. It kind of feels nice. Not at all like outside where I felt like I was in imminent danger. The only problem right now is that something smells kind of bad, but it's subtle enough that it's not really bothering me. So, we're at the university, huh? Yep. Wonder why. You hear the voices out there? Yeah. Things go quiet again, and I wonder what the hell Carl might be thinking. He looks ridiculously peaceful. Okay, did you find weed somewhere? Because you're looking as chill as I've ever seen you. Oh yeah? Yeah. Carl scratches his nose. Well, I guess I just realized some stuff. I wait, but he doesn't go on. Like what? Well, Chase, I don't need you. I frown. What? Carl laughs. No offense, man, but I realize that I rely on people too much, you know? I still don't really know. Did something happen? I guess I always sort of held it against you with what happened with Clinton back in the day. Oh, the fight. Yeah, and also some things at college, but then I realized that isn't fair. He pauses, but I don't say anything. I realize that I'm really responsible for myself in the end, that I need to help myself. That's good. I can't help but wonder if now is the best time for this epiphany that Carl is having, but it explains the setting we're in right now. Did he do this with his own mind? Is everything we've been through the result of our own imaginations? Okay, hold on, let me just save here just in case. Carl sits up, suddenly rubbing the bed. That I'm sick of feeling like I have to do something important, that I need to be important. He turns on his butt to face me and spreads out his hands. Because I'm not important at all. I'm a rich-ass, spoiled little shit, and that's about it. Come on, Carl. No, it's a good thing. I'm happy because I realize I'm okay with that. Carl smirks at me. I want to go to college, but I want to get an art degree. Then I just want to get some job I can halfway stand and play games in my free time. He stares at me and I stare back. Okay. Carl laughs again. I know, this sounds stupid, but realizing this, it just feels good to feel comfortable in my own skin. I haven't felt comfortable so fucking long. Oh, that's good. I tried to smile for the ram. But I mean, we need to get out of here if you're gonna do anything. Yeah. It's weird that I'm feeling this way right now, but what isn't weird here? Carl reaches out to the wall again, feeling it carefully. Anyway, when I said I didn't need you, it sounded fucked up. I still love you, man. Yeah, I love you too. But I needed to say it out loud, I guess. I don't need anyone to make me feel okay. I just need to be okay with myself. And I guess I am. I gave Carl a weak smile, not sure what else to say. Sounds cliche, huh? But it's true. I mean, I'm just happy that you're okay. You ran away so suddenly. I had another panic attack, almost as bad as the one I had here. Carl points over to the opposite end of the room at a desk. I came back from that stupid dance I had and a bunch of homework to do for that computer programming class my dad made me take. I don't know, having that bad experience at the dance, then trying to figure out programming I didn't fucking understand, something cracked. Carl looks over at me. When I got back home, things were worse than they'd ever been. And one time I dropped acid and I thought I killed you. I make a face, but Carl waves his hand. Like, it's a long story, but then I thought it was a sign that maybe you were the one that was holding me together all that time. Carl, I had no idea. Yeah, how were you supposed to know? I didn't say anything, and when you came back to Echo, I thought maybe I could pull myself together with you here. Carl grins. Then, after this hellscape thing in Jenna, I just got fed up with it, I guess. Carl shrugs. I don't know. I cracked again, but it's like I cracked back in place. I just feel okay now, that we're gonna get through this. I finally kinda chuckled too. I'm happy for you. I really am. I just wish we could actually get back to Echo so you can feel better there. Carl taps his teeth loudly with his fingers, then looks at me. Dude, I think we are. Huh? I look at him quizzically. Carl runs a hand over the bed again. I just realized something, looking at this place. Can you see it? I furrow my brows. See what? This place seem familiar at all? Because now I'm seeing something completely different. I squint. No, it just looks like the dorm, a super long version of it. Carl smiles. Nah, man. We're in the diner. What? But then I can't go on because as soon as I see the shape of the diner, the dorm room melts away like a mirage. I'm on a table, and Carl sits across from me, on the opposite table. Oh! Oh! Carl's smile stretches into a grin. I guess we see the truth now. Wait. Wait, what? Hello? So, we've been here the whole time. I gasp heavily, leaning on Carl as we make our way up the road towards the mansion. Looks that way. I think it all happened in my house. I look around me in the darkness of the night. While the surreal feeling of the dreaming is gone, I still feel like I'm in some kind of nightmare. Carl tried his phone the second we realized we were back, but it was dead. Here outside, no one is around, though we did see a few bodies in the middle of the road. What the hell is happening? I think everyone's gone crazy. Carl seems to most likely be talking to himself. I remember seeing Janice running through the street just before everything went to shit, and I'm inclined to think that he's right. Should we maybe go to Leo's place instead? I don't know, I kinda want to find Raven and Jenna. Break them out of this first. I mean, she's still got that knife. Maybe she's calmed down, and then we can tell them and snap out of it. You think the others would come and find us or something? The fact that they haven't. Carl grunts acknowledgement, but doesn't say anything more. Meanwhile, the mansion looms ominously in front of us, and there's no sign of Raven or Jenna in front. There's a tree where we saw the body hanging, thankfully empty. I vaguely wonder if the newspaper clipping that the corpse ate is still there somehow. As Carl half drags me into the driveway, he hesitates. Listen, maybe you should wait out here. I'll, wake the others up. Then I'll grab the keys and we can drive out to Peyton. Get away from all this. I laugh, despite myself. Yeah, right. After everything we've been through? Besides, I saved your ass when John went after you. I might have to do it again. Carl smirks. Yeah, alright, but if she, or he, comes at us, I want you to get the hell out of here. Get in your car and get to Peyton. In hindsight, maybe we should have gotten my car from the motel and left that way instead. Carl shrugs. I would have come here anyway. I'm more worried about Raven right now. We're on the steps now, and Carl listens intently. His long ears broken up. It's dead silent. My heart rate starts to pick up as Carl reaches for the door. imagining Jenna, with John running out of the darkness, knife in hand. Very slowly, Carl twists the knob and pushes open the door. Thanks to the well-oiled hinges, it makes hardly a sound as it slowly swings open. We're met with darkness, aside from a few LEDs from the TV set. Carl leans close to my ear. At least the power's still on. I'm going to try the landline first. I nod as Carl and I step over the foundation and into the house. I'm happy to see that Carl's kitchen looks exactly like Carl's kitchen. Despite the terrifying atmosphere, there's relief that comes with knowing that we've broken free of the nightmare, or whatever that was. This time a distant pop echoes from the town. We both look back for a moment, and I remember the sound I heard when we walked into Pueblo. Had someone shot at me? I don't have long to dwell on that as Carl tugs me into the kitchen, purposely leaving the door open behind us. He's probably more worried about what might be in the house rather than what's far away in the town. The ram reaches for the light switch, then thinks better of it. He leaves me to lean against the counter before moving to the phone. I look around, noticing the table is set with a few plates with what looks like squares of drywall on them. The fact that the whole table is covered in dust that probably came from the crawl space. I frown at that before noticing a clear cup on the counter is full of some kind of yellow liquid. At the same time, I see a piece of paper laying next to me, standing out in the spotless counter. I reach out, pressing a hand over it and feeling the smooth piece of paper, its size and shape familiar. I pick it up, looking around for a light source before seeing the fridge and hopping over to it. Line's dead. What are you doing, dude? I open the fridge, letting the dim yellow light spill it out. I hold up the paper, which seems to be a copy of the newspaper clipping. This is the photocopy from the cabin. I whisper loudly. A setup boy missing. Native settler tensions rise. Fifth native boy goes missing in 2 years. Native chief says disappearances did not happen until settlers arrived. James Hendricks has been confined in the county jail pending further evidence. I look up at Carl. Wait, so was it James that was kidnapping children? Carl shrugs at me. I really don't know, man, and I don't think it matters right now. He did have a point considering we weren't trapped in the nightmare anymore, though I still feel like something's missing. Yeah, you're right. I fold up and shove the paper in my pocket anyway. So the phone's dead. I think we should just grab the keys and Carl's ears perk up. I do the same with mine if I could. You hear that? No? Carl moves to the stairs. Stay here. I'll be right back. I shout whisper. What? I'll be right back. I think I hear Raven. I bite my lip. This new boost of confidence that Carl's gotten is great and all, but his hero's complex is about to get him killed. I follow the ram to the top of the stairs, watching him start to downwards before jabbing him in the back with my knuckles. I look back in the almost as dark kitchen before making up my mind and hopping down the stairs after the ram. He jumps. Holy shit! He's get the hell out of me! Carl also shout whispers. Well, fuck you for thinking of leaving me up here. I told you outside we're sticking together. Okay, just hold on to my shirt or something. Okay. With that, Carl starts making his way down the stairs with me limping behind. Slowly but surely, I start to hear something too. It's muffled and quiet, and sounds very much like a voice. The voice is calm and reasonable, and I'm pretty sure it's Raven's. Carl stops next to a door on the left where the voice seems to be coming from. Wait, maybe I should open it. If Jenna's in there, it's not like she's going after me, right? Carl seems to hesitate in the darkness. I don't know, man. Don't worry, he'll be right next to me, right? There's a moment of silence again before Carl shifts next to me, to the side of the door. Alright, but get behind me if she goes after you. I nod as well, even if he can't see me. I take a breath, steeling myself for what might be behind the door. Slowly I push it open. It's also dark in this room. The weight room, I realize. The talking stops immediately before it turns into a whine. Oh my god, and the door opened by itself. This is insane! I feel the light switch next to the door and flip it on. There sits Raven, tied up to a weight machine with what looks like several pieces of clothing. A few pieces of paper sit on his lap on the ground. The husky's staring right at me, but there's no sign of recognition in his face. There's no sign of Jenna either, thank God. Raven? Oh God, it knows my name! Raven starts writhing around in his hands. Mr. Ghost Thing, what do you want? Do you want money? Honestly, I don't have very much money at all. I work at the mall. And Carl pokes his head in too. Hey, Raven, can you hear me? But Raven keeps babbling about his job. Carl frowns and shifts past me into the room. Huh? I stand in the doorway looking back into the whole all-unseen darkness. Raven's still chattering when Carl reaches out, resting a hand on his shoulder. The shriek that Raven lets out makes my first stand on end. Oh my god, no. Shh. Carl presses a hand onto the husky's mouth, muffling his nose just a bit, But that's when Raven's eyes widen. I'm doing alright, DJ. It's been a really good stream today. Been having a lot of fun, like going along with the story with all of you. Whoa, whoa. Hey, Carl. He stares around wide-eyed. Wow, where am I? At my house, at my weight room. You okay? The husky looks at Carl again. What? How? Carl shrugs. We have no idea. I look back into the hallway to make sure Jenna isn't coming out after all that shrieking, then look back at the other two. So it's that easy? We just had to touch him? Carl turns to me. I guess. It's like it really is just a dream or something. Hey, Chase. Raven's craning his head around Carl now. Hey, Raven. Raven stares around the room again. Wow, just a second ago it was a really fancy-looking bedroom. Had a bed with curtains on it and stuff. Raven, how'd you get tied up? Oh, Jenna, of course. Actually, she's calmed down a bit and I brought her into the house, but then she punched me. Carl sets to untying the husky while Raven rubs the back of his head against the weight machine. And I fell down the stairs and she dragged me into this room and tied me up. Raven smiles sheepishly. Honestly, I probably could have fought her off, but facing a tiny, maybe serial killer girl with a knife is kind of scary, so I just did what she told me. That's okay. Do you know where she is now? I glanced back into the hallway, still nothing. No, she went back out. She did come like 10 minutes ago, though, and shoved these papers into my face. Raven points at the papers in his lap onto the ground with a frayed hand. Carl gets started on tying the binds around his legs. Said something about these being the real letters, the truth or whatever. I leap into the room, partly because I didn't want to get caught by Jen if she comes in, also because I wanted to look at the two letters. They're short. One of them is about a paragraph, the other is only a few words. Because it's second nature now, I pick up the longer one and read it aloud. I don't know what to say after finding your dungeon. No, there are other words for it, James. It is a dungeon. And after finding the boy's body, finding out what you'd done to it, there truly are no words, James. I only know now why you were never satisfied with me. All of your sweet words have turned to poison. I'm leaving you to the law, and leaving this wretched town behind. I only hope that God has no mercy on your soul. I pick up the other letter, placing it over first. You're disgusting. I don't have James's letter, so I have no idea what John was responding to. I also don't know who to believe anymore. John or James, or even the thing that they were talking about could alter the notes left around in the dreamscape. There's no way I can even begin to piece together who was manipulating what. But maybe because I'm in the real world now, and this is certainly real. This could be the actual truth. I also noticed the collection of dust on these photocopy pages, taken from a scrapbook and stashed somewhere, probably the crawl space considering the state that they're in. Is Jenna in the crawl space right now searching for letters? Raven finally puts his feet out of the ropes, rubbing his arms. He nods at me. Said she wrote that one in jail after James had written to him? I gotta say, since that whole knife thing, it seems like she doesn't know who she is. I fold up the letters, putting them in my pocket with the news article. I mean, she keeps on going about James and letters. Did she say anything else about the letters? Raven frowns, looking at the ceiling. She said something about not being able to finish the game because one of them burned and the other got, eaten. I put a hand onto my pocket. Well, I found the one that burned on the counter upstairs. I don't think it burned, we just saw it burn. I think to the tree outside the house, but Carl shakes his head. Doesn't really matter now that we're free of this shit. Let's find the keys and get the hell out. Carl starts on the last restraints around Raven's ankles. I get up and limp to the doorway again, looking out toward the crawl space. In that moment, I hear whispering movement. Oh, shit. I limp out a bit more, watching as two tall ears slowly materialize out of the darkness. For a moment, I see a young male fox in overalls in front of me. But then that imagery dissolves as Jenna slowly lit up by the light coming from the weight room. She's covered in the dust from the crawl space. I'm startled, but I'm not scared because I know she can't see me. At least, she shouldn't be able to see me, but her piercing eyes are right on me. She can't see me. Maybe it's the fact that it's not Jenna at all. Maybe it's because she's completely possessed, and it's John looking through her eyes. Whatever it is, she can see me, and that's clear, because she immediately raises the knife and bares her teeth at me. I don't want the other getting caught by her, especially with Raven tied up like that. I need to give Carl or I a chance to attack from behind, depending on if she goes for me or takes a turn into the weight room. Oh shit, she's coming! I back into I back out into the hall and away from Jenna, hoping to give one of us the advantage, but she's coming so fast. Otter, you're on you're on it with James, huh? Her voice, rough and deep, unlike anything I've heard from Jenna before. I realize that there's no waking Jenna up from this. It's not Jenna anymore, and John sure as hell isn't waking up. John lunges and I turn and run. The fox doesn't even glance into the weight room as he comes for me. I limp and leap through the darkness, left hand stretched out, desperately feeling for the end of the wall that would signify the stairs. I hear the fox breathing behind me, bumping into the walls. Finally, my hand falls through nothing, and I turn sharply to run up the stairs. As I stumble upwards, I start to wonder what the hell I'm gonna do. While I could try and go for a bathroom, lock up the door, that doesn't exactly help out Carl. I can't stop thinking about the newspaper clipping that John's hanging corpse ate. If I can get all the pieces that it wants us to get, then maybe I can end whatever this is. My thoughts are interrupted as something cold goes down my back, followed by an even colder pain just to the right of my spine. Oh shit, did he stab us again? I guess as if I'd fallen into water but continue upwards. I can hear Carl shouting too at the base of the stairs. There's too much distance between me and him for the ram to be of any help. As we reach the top of the stairs, there's a loud thwack sound to my left of the head, just as I stumble into the kitchen. Quick glance over my shoulder and I see John yanking the knife from okay. Almost sobbing now, I jump limp my way to the front door, hearing John scream curses at me from behind. While I want Carl's help right now, I also don't want him to catch up. I don't want John turning on him. I struggle with the door for a moment, for some reason trying to push it on it rather than pull. It's only a few seconds, but enough for John to gain on me and swing with the knife again as I pull open the door. I scream and duck, hearing the metal clang against the door hinge. I lunge forward out to the door into the cool of the early morning. The sky is a soft blue as dawn breaks. I limp as fast as I can down to the steps, down to the driveway, towards the slope past the road, but John catches me again as I'm on the road. This time he grabs my shirt, holding on to me. I turn to face him as he draws the knife back for another swing, but at that moment we go over the slope. Even my adrenaline feels safe, the fall is painful, and each time I roll I can feel the stab of rock sticking into my skin. The final bounce is punctuated with the blinding pain in my forehead as it collides with a smaller boulder. I shakily get to my feet, looking left and right for the tree, panicking until I realize it's right in front of me. I stumble right into it, clinging to it. I scan the dirt, but there's nothing, no paper at all. Jenna's getting up, just 5 feet away. I can see blood oozing through several scratches on her, or his body. The knife is still in his hand, and he zeroes in on me again. I cower and move behind the tree, my plan ruined. And that's when my face comes level with the hollow in the tree. Automatically I reach in, feeling around, feeling mostly spiderwebs and twigs before. Carl appears at the top of the slope. Hey, stop! Hold on a minute, you guys, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry about that, you guys, but yeah, let's continue this crazy story. I'm not going to dinner yet. I'm not gonna get noms yet. John whirls around, knife raised as he immediately moves in the other direction. You! My hand finds a corner of a piece of paper and I pull out the newspaper clipping. I scan over it. It's another quote from Carl's mother. I begin to read, my voice cracking as I manage to shout. But I was able to open a lockbox kept by James himself. It was full of jail letters between him and John. John freezes in his steps, knife still raised, looking up at Carl. I don't want to sully the Hendricks name, but if what John said is true, James framed him in the most heinous crime in Echo's history. In the meantime, Carl stumbles down the slope, moving carefully around the fox to stand next to me. I reach into my pocket and pull out the other pieces of paper. I hold them up. John, we know the truth. I'm going to tell everyone in my documentary, okay? I'm a journalist, a reporter. We see the truth. John turns towards me, the knife slowly lowering. And just like that, it's not John anymore. It's Jenna. The knife clatters to the rocks. Carl reaches out to hold me as I collapse against him. Everything is numb. Jenna's hands go to her mouth, staring at the knife, staring at me and Carl before she screams. In the distance I can hear sirens. Is history subjective in nature? The story of James and John sure seems to be. All we have left are a few written letters, and from these we must try to draw some sort of conclusion. In the end, it can't really be said what exactly happened almost 150 years ago. Instead, we could only provide the facts. Several native children went missing. James was accused of the crime before claiming that his secret lover, John, was the culprit. In his jail letters, Jonathan claims that he was framed by James. Because of the vigilant justice dealt out by the town, John never had a trial, and no record of the evidence collected exists. James, because of his influence, was allowed to leave and live hundreds of miles away in the west coast where he eventually died. He never wrote of the incident again. Many believe that, as journalists, we're supposed to be unbiased and only state the facts. That's not exactly true, as long as it's clear that we were stating an opinion, so I'd like to do that now. It's my opinion that John is innocent. We should be presumed innocent until proven guilty. After all, and Jonathan has never even had that chance. According to the accounts written by other townspeople, James was a deceitful and emotionally manipulative man. There are many accounts of this prejudices against the native people. In the end, the records exist that of John give us no reason to disbelieve him, while James had given us every reason to doubt him. But because time is evidence's worst enemy, it's been 150 years. The definitive answer will likely never be known. Much like of Echo, the story is lost to time. I'm Chase Hunter at the Pueblo University, and this has been a special report on the town of Echo. Wait. I look over to the report again, my eyes stinging from staring at the monitor for too long. I'm a terrible writer, and the words of the script seem so clumsy. I shrug and I'll decide I have time to polish it up a bit. It's weird, writing the last word to a script started almost 1.5 years ago. It's changed a lot since then, moving from a focus onto hysteria to an old mansion mystery. My mind wanders back to that spring break Earth. My mind wanders back to that spring break in Echo. I still shake my head when I think about it, how completely shattered my view on reality, my view on life. Of course, I couldn't come back to school right afterwards. I hadn't finished my project after all. Actually, I needed therapy. We all did. Except Carl. He seemed to come out of it better than he had been going into it. Somehow. Everything handles trauma differently, Jenna would say. In fact, she has a lot of things to say about what happened. While she didn't come out quite as unscathed as Carl, she's still tougher than me, and actually went right back to school that summer. Now she's at Weston, and a lot of her research is focused on folie à deux, or shared psychosis. Because of how everything went down, the things we felt and what we saw, Jenna's convinced that's what took place. She brought up the way we primed each other to hear and see things. The way the things we saw didn't seem to have any rhyme or reason for what they were. While I do believe a lot of what we saw came from ourselves, I'm not fully convinced that explains all of it. Mainly because the rest of the townspeople went through their own nightmare that night. I still can't believe the things that Leo and TJ went through. Still, I'm glad she can find a way to explain it to herself. She told me over the phone just last week that she hasn't forgiven herself, that she should have been stronger than that. I told her over and over that it's not her fault, but I guess after coming to with a knife in her hand and her friend stabbed, it left an impression. I rest my hand on the thick scar through my shirt that runs all the way down my back and wiggle at the ankle that caused me a permanent limp. Still, this whole incident, it actually brought us closer. At least for Jenna, Carl, and I. Hell, even Raven. It's still painful to think about how Flynn, Leo, and TJ, poor TJ, aren't really talking anymore. I guess it's the fact that we went through completely different things during the incident. Of course, we told the police it was someone else that had stabbed me, with the town descended into madness. Echo. A name now famous worldwide after the mass hysteria incident that truly brought a dying town to its ultimate end. At least in terms of being a failed town. While no one really lives there now, it certainly became a tourist attraction. Countless news reports, TV shows, and paranormal investigators descended on the area. Especially once the news story changed from spree killings leave 9 dead to whole town went nuts. Luckily, not a lot of focus fell on us since we weren't exactly living in Echo anymore. We just got into ambulances and left. Carl, on the other hand, along with the rest of his family, is still harassed by the media. Carl's mom, Tricia, is a pro at handling the media, though. I still wonder about exactly what happened that stopped her from publishing all of her findings. I'll have to ask her sometime, considering I'm practically family due to how much I visit with Carl. In the end, the relationship I had with Carl and Jamescape didn't exactly survive in the real world. Carl told me he didn't know where he ended, and James began, even when he rejected James's influence. We couldn't really trust anything that happened there. But still, he's my best friend, and I plan to spend the summer over his house when I start my next project on Echo. Yeah, I realize that there are a lot more stories to cover over there, and I plan to uncover them. It's almost healing going back now without any fear. My own little therapy. I guess I always end up back there eventually. The sound of clops to my right makes me look up, just as a bulky ram fills the frame of the doorway. Carl leans against it, rolling his eyes. Dude, you told me you were going to work on that tomorrow. I smile and rest my chin in my palm. Let's just give it a quick once-over before we film. Yeah, sure. Anyway, I'm going for some pizza. You coming? I'm not really hungry, but taking my mind off of Echo for just a little bit sounds good. Carl always cheered me up anyway. I nod over at the corner of our dorm room, where Carl's paper-mache sculpture of a tortured-looking bird sits. Don't you have to finish that thing by tomorrow? Carl shrugs. I got like 3 energy drinks in the fridge. I'll be good. Come on, let's get going. I want to meet Caitlin there too. Oh wait, no, it was Caitlin. I think that's how you say the name. I get up slowly, stretching out my back. Oh, I see. So I'm just your wingman. Carl smirks. It's not like that, dude. Just hanging out with her. Now, let's go! Carl hangs on the frame, starting to swing himself out into the hall. Hey, Carl. Carl rebounds back into the room, leaning towards me. Yo. Thanks for being my friend. I don't know if this was all the reminiscing about what happened in the spring before last, or if I'm still not over what happened, but Carl seems to understand. He smiles and reaches out with a big hand towards me, which I grasp. course, man. And if you need to talk or something, I'm here. You want to talk right now? I shake my head quickly. Nah, I'm good. Just wanted to say it. Carl smiles. Well, thanks for saying it. Now, let's go! Carl again swings on the frame out into the hall. There's some loud clapping before I hear him shouting at someone and giving them what sounds like a high five. I smile to myself as I look at the document screen one last time, before closing the laptop and following Carl out into the hallway. Oh, I like that! Oh, I really like that! Oh my god, and I love like this lo-fi version of the song that they were using. Ba, 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 ba. I think that's what it is, the Echo remix of Look Forwards. Oh, I really like that. It, does anyone know if if there's like a official soundtrack out there for this? Because I did see that there's original soundtrack, but is there like a way like I can get it somewhere? Oh man, dude. Click on the river in the title. Oh yeah, that's right, huh? Oh, I really like that. That's like a much better ending. You know what? If I do end up finding the soundtrack for this, like this whole game, this like lo-fi theme that they're using right here in in the credits, I think that's what I'm gonna use because wow. Click on the river. Okay, I need to click. Oh yeah. Oh, there's like a whole bunch of other cutscenes for us to go through too. Oh, no, this is the lo-fi theme. Oh my gosh, dude, this feels so long ago now. It's a big boy Leo. Okay, I'm actually gonna admit, this screen right here, I think is probably one of my favorite screens that is in the entirety of this novel. I don't know, there's something about it. I think, you know, like just the environment all around it here, it just looks like really good. Like oh! Oh, okay, so that's the echo. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so they got like a whole bunch of other soundtracks here. But like, there's some soundtracks that we can't get yet. Like, nice to meet you. Like, we can't click on that yet because we technically haven't gotten it yet through the story. That's interesting. So there's like also like a sort of progression system in this too. I like that. I actually like that. Oh, yep, like these are all the screens here. Oh wait, are there like there's different there's different screens for everyone else too? Holy shit! Di- I can't believe like how much there is into this. Oh my god. So that's well, that's to travel to different days? Ah. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. He's gonna do the completionist route? Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm like, oh my gosh. I actually want to go back here. Oh my gosh, like looking at all these screens again. Again, like they're bringing back so much nostalgia because it feels like it's been forever since we've seen this. Like this was literally at the beginning of the entire thing. That is a really creepy version of Carl right there. Oh my gosh. Oh look, uh, if you actually look down here, that's also animated too. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we're gonna play like a little bit of Leo's route next, because I guess we could say we've 100%ed Carl's route now. Wow, that was very very enjoyable. I definitely like that. Okay, so let's see, how long has this stream been going on for? That's been going. Okay, so I'm gonna do like 1 hour of Leo's route right here, and then we might stop for today. So we still got a long way to go. Still got a lot of story to do. I stare out into the window as we whirl down the dusty streets of Echo. Every road, every corner, and every trailer, and every tree has a memory attached to it. Excuse me. There, in the middle of the dusty parking lot that belonged to the corner market, is a tiny stand. That used to be where I'd get ice cream after begging for $1 from my parents. It's crumbled and boarded up now, the paint peeling off in tiny chips. And there, in front of Duke's house, is a big flat rock that Jenna was standing on when she told me that she was going to run away from home. I can still remember almost exactly how she was silhouetted against the red sunset behind her. And the old train yard where in the middle of the summer Leo kissed me for the first time while I was sweating buckets under the noon sun. He didn't seem to care though. I look over at Leo. He's got one hand on the wheel, glancing up at the rearview mirror occasionally to trade jobs with Flynn. Trade jabs with Flynn. I'm I'm regretting not letting him know we're coming, you know? You'll be lucky if he even gets his ass out of bed. We'll call him then. And what if he doesn't answer? Leo doesn't say anything, instead focusing back on the road. TJ feels the silence after a while. Well, I don't think it's too weird. It's just like we're hanging out again. Nothing wrong with that. Sure, but making it about Carl is just weird. Maybe his birthday was like next week, but 2 weeks tops. Oh, hush, Flynn. It's like we'll be hanging out. You're acting weird, and it isn't going to help anything. The car starts slowing down, and I snap out of my daydream to look up, knowing that we definitely weren't at Carl's house yet. That's when I see a round canine figure standing further over on the side of the road. She's standing in the dirt that separates the road and the field in front of a broken and rusted barbed wire fence. I think that's Janice. Oh, wait, this was the story that they told us. I look over at Leo and he seems concerned, his brows furrowed as he carefully steers the car right up next to the coyote. I can see why. She's crouched over, elbows on her knees, staring at the ground. Roll down your window, Chase. I do as he says, struggling a little with the old crank to handle. What the hell is she doing out there? We come to a stop next to the coyote, kicking up some dust. I don't know. Hey! Leo leans over and smiles out at Janice, who's still looking at the ground. Everything all... Leo's voice cuts off in a weird choking sound. I look at him, confused, then look back out in the window and I can't help myself but I gasp. It was hard to tell from the angle and all the dust kicked up by the van, but now I can see that Janice has her pants down around her thighs. I can also see everything else. I sit back quickly and avert my eyes, looking out the windshield instead. What the fuck? Oh my god. Leo, let's keep going. Jenna whispers it, her voice strained. Oh, sorry, Leo stops talking and I glance out the window again. Janice is looking at us now and she's smiling. It's a weird smile because it isn't touching her eyes. It's unnerving. Leo stares back. Leo, let's just go. I hiss out the side of my mouth, staring at the windshield again. He seems reluctant to, though, looking concerned. Janice, do you need some help? His tone is one that you might use on a toddler, or a crazy person. I don't hear her say anything except maybe a grunt. Leo bravely keeps trying, though. We can give you a ride. Leo stops talking in time for me to hear a pattering sound. A sound I recognize well from my time as a kid pissing on the dirt roads of Echo. The van lurches forward, then resumes a smooth acceleration back into the empty road. Holy shit! What the fuck was that? I completely forgot about that because on the way here they did say that they met some crazy chick who was pissing on the side of the road. I don't... Leo's frowning, looking as confused as I've ever seen him. Should I go back? No! I look back and see TJ covering his face. Maybe she could be having some kind of psychotic episode. Or maybe she just had to piss. I don't think so. Did you see the way how she looked at me? She was probably just on something. Isn't everyone? No, she doesn't do stuff like that. Well, maybe she does. You never know, people. Again, Leo doesn't say anything, and neither does anyone else. We don't go back. That is a really, really weird scene. A really awkward one, too. I fucking told you. Leo stabs the doorbell again, frustration etched across his face. I shift the bag I'm carrying around in my paws, trying to look through the frosted glass on the side of the door. Maybe he's getting high. He should still be able to hear. I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to. TJ holds up his phone. He's not answering his phone either. Leo knocks on the door hard, his bicep bulging. Well, I guess breaking the door might get us inside. Leo stands back, pausing in his voice as he takes a deep breath. He's determined. And I guess he should be, considering he set all this up. We should have just told him to meet us at the diner or something. Did they lock their windows? What? Leo growls. It's not like we're breaking in. TJ's ears pinned back, a frown on his face. The wolf puts a paw on his forehead, closing his eyes. Sorry, but I think he's just asleep. It shouldn't be too hard to get in there and wake him up. I look over to the side of the house and I see a window well. I point at it. What about that one? Too small. I could probably fit. She hops off the front porch and crouches down next to the window, pushing at it. Wait, there's a security sticker here. Well, you gotta arm it first, and Carl's such a lazy ass I know he ain't. TJ is cute. He is too innocent for this world. Like, literally, last time we were on Leo's route, they were on a store to pick up something for Carl, and freaking TJ was holding like a dildo gun, and he didn't even know what it was. So that is the most funniest thing. He is too innocent for this world. Besides, if we set it off, we can just run. It's not like they'll show up anytime soon. Or instead of acting like criminals, we can just stay up until the cops show up. She knows us. Jenna hesitates, then pushes at the window again, but it doesn't budge. It's locked. Let's try the other. Let's try the one above it. That one's too high. I'll boost you up. I think this is getting a little too far. Leo ignores him and stands next to the window before making a platform for Jenna's foot with his paws. Steadying herself with her paws against the wall of the house, Leo easily lifts Jenna and she manages to grab the ledge. Fucking hell, this is so fucking stupid. Flynn mutters next to me, but I make a point of not looking over at him. I feel for Leo. He worked hard to make this happen, and everyone's giving him a hard time over it. Jenna pushes against the window and it glides open easily. Yes! Okay, now I'm gonna boost you all the way up. Hold on. Careful. Like some kind of cheerleading duo, Leo shoves Jenna all the way up with one paw and she disappears through the window. Her bush tail is the last thing we see, until she pokes her head back through. Kitchen. I fell in the sink. Great, now unlock the door. She disappears again and we make our way back to the front door. Leo, you're fucking crazy. If you don't shut your fucking mouth, Flynn, I'll kick you right in your vagina. Sound good? Jesus, calm your... Leo turns on him, one foot in front of the other. Flynn shoves up to me and TJ left to shift around uncomfortably on the porch. What? Okay. Okay. Finally, we hear the door rattling and it opens. Called his name, but he didn't answer. Well, he's got to be here. It's not like he'd go anywhere else, or would want to. Carl's house is as massive and as immaculate as I can remember it. It is a mansion, after all. There are a few bowls and wrappers lying around on the marble counters. I assume that's because Carl's parents aren't here to tell him that's to not be a slob. Flynn immediately heads up the stairs. Yo, Carl! I set the bag down on the table and TJ sets the cake there too. I look over at him. You alright? Yeah. Why? Just asking. How was your hike with Jenna? It's alright. I wish you were there though. Yeah, me too. I might go again in a day or two if you like. Sure, why not? I promised myself that wasn't an empty promise. Well, he's not in his room. Flynn's actually looking a little worried now. Maybe he went for a walk. Carl? Walking? In this weather? Hell no. Big hugs to you too, Vox. Does he have any other friends? Maybe he went out somewhere. I don't think so. Well, let's do a quick sweep of the house. It's a big place. Flynn heads back upstairs, and Jenna and Leo head for the downstairs. TJ looks around the kitchen, then moves over to the living room, checking the couches. I decide to head out back, if not just to get away from the others since things feel unusually tense between us today. As I step out into the backyard, I'm a little surprised. It's different from when I was last here. The playset is gone, and so is the massive trampoline they used to have. The biggest shock, though, is seeing that the huge treehouse they used to sit on the old oak tree is gone. I stand there for a moment, feeling a vague sense of loss. I have too many good memories of that place. Time moves too fucking fast. After a while, I remember why I'm here, and look around again. No Carl, of course, but I start walking around anyway, looking behind bushes even though I know it's stupid. While I felt for Leo, I could see where Flynn was coming from. It would have been a better idea to warn Carl, or meet up somewhere else. Leo just gets carried away a little when he has his heart set on something. He probably had a whole scene planned out in his head before we even got here. Mostly, I just feel really bad for him. He's been working really hard to make this trip interesting for all of us. I think it's our fault more than anything that nothing's working out. Flynn's a dick, Carl doesn't care, Jenna's also kind of being a dick, and TJ's always interested that none of us are. I'm just boring. I can relate. Honestly, I relate to that. Like, I'm just a boring blepper. As I round the corner of the house, I'm surprised to see Flynn standing there. He must have come out the front door. Oh, hey Flynn. I thought you went upstairs. Flynn doesn't seem to be surprised at all to find me here, which makes me think that he was looking for me. I did. Wasn't there, so I thought I'd look outside. Oh, well, he's not in the back, so... I don't know why, but Flynn's making me feel as awkward as hell. Is something wrong? Flynn holds his arms and leans up against the house. Well, Carl's missing, so I guess that's a problem, huh? Yeah. I tried to think of something to say. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's just hiding somewhere. Maybe he's out at the diner. Probably just got tired of being stuck in his own house. Yeah. He straightens up again and steps forward, and I don't know why, but I take a step back. You were hanging out with Leo yesterday, right? Yeah, for a little while. I'm Chase and TJ. Boring and only interesting. Hey, listen here, you. I find you interesting. I find you interesting, and you are not boring. Every time we get the chance to talk with each other, you are not boring in the slightest. I do not lie, Rock. Well, I mean, I guess I can call you Martin here, but Martin? No, I do not lie. I only tell the truth. Yeah, for a little while. You spent the night there? I pause for a second to give him the hint that I'm not exactly okay with him prying like this, but I answer anyway. No, I got back to the motel at like 3. Huh. Yeah. I start to turn back around. Hey, why don't we check the basement? Chase. He got the same tone as a disappointed parent, and that kind of pisses me off. I turn back around. What? You realize what you're doing is stupid, right? Excuse me? Getting back with him during fucking spring break? Pretty stupid, right? I had a feeling that's where this was going, and now I know for sure, and I'm definitely pissed now. How is that any of your business? How is it not? You two seem pretty okay with making it our business, right? No? He sneers at me. Cuddling up at a lake where a friend died is pretty messed up, isn't it? What? I saw you two. You know I did. So what? What does it have to do with Sydney? I guess I just find it weird that you start up your old flame on what's practically a grave. What the hell are you talking about? Feelings changed from anger to bewilderment. I did know what he was talking about. I just didn't know why. Well, since it's all out in the open now, why not talk about it? You're the one that put it out in the open. I'm the worst, in the worst way possible, by the way. His sneer disappears. I just don't get why you're connecting those two things. We weren't even talking about Sydney. How? What else does that lake make you think of? I'm at a loss for words, totally confused. This is Flynn. I never talked about Sydney with him after it happened. I was too scared to. Well, I don't think of it as his grave or anything. Oh really? It's just a fucking lake to you then? Huh? He didn't die there, Flynn. It was in the hospital. It might as well just have been there, right? I swallow hard, wanting desperately to get back inside. Let's not talk about this right now. Oh, I guess I was confused. Everyone's been telling me that I need to talk about it. Well, not like this. Not with just me here. We should all be together if we want to have this talk. I turn around again, making it clear that I'm leaving. Wait. The change of tone in his voice makes me turn around again. It's softer and almost pleading. I'm not used to hearing Flynn talk like this. I'm just trying to look out for you, Chase. He's not... I feel some of that anger returning. He's not what? Well, he's not exactly a stable guy, is he? I laugh. Ha! And you are? He dips his head, and I can tell he's embarrassed, even though he doesn't have the ears to tell me so. And not just you, all of us. We're all a little fucking crazy, aren't we? Flynn smiles a little bit. Well, that's what happens when you live in Echo. That's what all the kids at school said. Flynn frowns again. Listen, I'm just looking out for you. He's just... I sigh loudly and cover my face with the paw for a second. I was hoping I'd be able to change the subject, but now we're back to Leo. I'm surprised when I lower my paw and Flynn is just a few feet away. Flynn, just drop it. It's none of your business. His gaze hardens. I think it is when I see a friend taking advantage on another friend. Taking advantage of me? Yeah. Has been since you were fucking 15. I immediately know what he's implying. Fuck off, Flynn. You're acting like my fucking parent. He takes another step forward and I back away, but he angles it so I'm pressured up against the house. I get the urge to run away, but I feel like doing that will only affirm how much this has escalated. There's a change in him as well. Something unfamiliar in his eyes and his stance, and his voice even. He leans down to my height. Like playing with fire, huh? You've seen it in his eyes. He's fucking crazy. He pokes me in the chest to emphasize his words. Crazy, kind of like how you are right now? Flynn pulls away, straightening his back, but still looking down at me. Yeah? Well, maybe I am. The awkward silence stretches out. It seems to go on until... You know what? I think... Chase. Both of our muzzles flick in the direction of Leo's voice. Mine to the right, Flynn to his left. Leo stands there, perched ear forward, though his expression seems neutral. I wonder how long he's been standing there. I can tell Flynn's wondering the same thing. Any sign of him? No. I slide out from under Flynn, making my way towards Leo. I checked the back, but I didn't see him anywhere. Leo doesn't even look back at me, staring over the top of my head. I look and see Flynn staring right back. His shoulders are still tensed. That's when I feel Leo's heavy, strong arm drape over my shoulders. Flynn's eyes narrow. Let's get back inside then. As Leo leads me away, I get the feeling that he's still staring Flynn down, even though I don't look up to check. Wow! Ain't that just the most fucked up way to bring up someone, huh? I'm getting worried. No shit, Carl doesn't just disappear from his house like this. He doesn't have anywhere to go. Calm down, he could be anywhere. He has more friends than just us. The fact that he isn't answering his phone is kinda fucking suspicious. Leo holds up his paws. You know, he forgets to charge his phone sometimes. Flynn's getting more and more frustrated. It started to pace around the living room. He never goes out with other friends. That's the problem. Listen, maybe we should just wait. You all can wait here. I'm gonna find him. Flynn makes for the door, and before anyone can say anything, it's slamming shut behind him. Okay, sorry about that. We sit in silence for a while, staring at the door that Flynn just took off through. Leo lets his breath out in a long sigh, rubbing his face. Alright, let's think. Where else does Carl have to go? The comic book shop? Leo looks at me for a second. Maybe if someone else gave him a ride, but like Flynn said, does he have anyone else to do that for him? Well, if you guys are gonna do that, then I'll probably stay here in case he comes back. Yeah, we can keep looking. Sounds good. Leo pulls his keys out of his pocket, then looks back at me. Coming with me, Chase? Yeah. I follow Leo out the door, actually starting to feel worried about Carl. We walk around the mall for about an hour, checking the food court and every shop that we pass. It's clear that this idea was pretty hopeless from the beginning. Jenna lets us know that Carl hasn't showed up at the house either, and that they're heading back to the motel. Finally, Leo and I call it quits and head back to his house before walking to the diner for dinner. So, where do you think he went? Leo's hunched over, an elbow at the table and his chin at his paw, staring out the window. Dunno. You think we should call someone? Like the cops? Not yet. He's an adult, so they won't really look until it's been days. We should probably call his parents, though, if he doesn't show up by tonight. I don't say anything, stirring my milkshake around. I glance back over at the kitchen area, watching a very tired-looking Janice gather up plates before taking them to the back. I was pretty much mortified when I realized she was here and about to take our order, mostly because I was embarrassed for her. She didn't really say anything, though, just took our order and left. I examined my milkshake closely, though for what, I'm not sure. I'm not too worried, though. He's been under a lot of stress and probably just wanted to leave town for a while. But who would he do that with? And why wouldn't he tell us? Leo sips on his milkshake and I wait for him to finish. I guess things really have changed. Yeah? I rest my chin on his palm, meeting his eyes so he knows I'm listening. I mean, the way Flynn was acting all day, he really can't stand us anymore. Carl probably feels the same way. I don't think so. Flynn's usually been that way, right? Not like that. Like the way he was talking with you earlier. So he did hear. I guess you were right. I should have just left shit alone. We all used to fit together so well, but now we're all changed and it's like we're bending ourselves to fit again. That's actually not true. If you suspect someone is missing, the cops will look... Exactly! That's what all missing persons is like. Well, I guess it's just life then, right? Leo grunts and keeps staring at the window. It's clear how much he wanted all this to work out, to give us the opportunity for one last hurrah before we separated for good. And now I'm actually pretty angry at myself and the others. This is our last chance to really say our goodbyes, and it's like we don't care at all. Jenna and TJ are off doing their own thing. Carl's getting lost and probably high, and Flynn, well, Flynn's being Flynn. I lean forward, then grinning. I'm really happy you planned all this. Slowly, Leo shifts his attention from the sunset to my face. I smile widely for him. This is the most fun I've had all year, even though everyone's acting like a dick. I dip my head self-consciously. Including me, I know, but this whole thing has reminded me about a lot of good things in this town. And even though things have been kind of shitty, I think it's a good note to leave off on. Leo raises his brows. Because weren't things always shitty? It's part of the experience. Leo stares at me for a long time and I feel my grin start to fade. But then he reaches forward and rubs a thumb up my nose. I blink in surprise and he shows me the smear of white on his thumb pad. Sorry, it's hard to take you seriously looking like a cokehead. He grins and licks his thumb. I blush and grab a napkin to wipe my face, but Leo rests upon my arm. But seriously, thanks for trying, at least. Leo looks like he's about to say something else, hesitates, then opens his mouth again. Cute. Leo and I look up to find a lanky, patchy, ugly, ring-tailed cat staring down at us with beady black eyes. I don't know if you knew, but there's a lot of other people in here trying to enjoy their meal. Clint puts a paw down on the edge of his table, leaning in. Could you try not to ruin it for us? He grins at me, showing how many teeth he's missing. Guess he graduated from huffing paint since the last time I saw him. What the hell are you doing here, Chase? Didn't you dump his fat ass? I grimace. I can't tell if he's joking or not, or if he's still the same asshole that I remember him as. I haven't talked to him in years. Okay, I will be right back, you guys. So, hold on for a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay, we're back. Okay, so did I miss anything? Ah, some people did dip. Oh well. Is that a Doroba? I have no clue. But other than that, let's keep going on for a little bit longer. See, I think maybe like 20 minutes. Like another 20 minutes and then I'm gonna get some nums. Okay. Well, it kind of looks like you dumped your own ass, Clint. What happened to you? I can see Clint's brain work as he digests what I said, deciding whether or not he should be offended. I could also see his tail twitching behind him, as it's patchy too, leaving some parts of it bald like a rat's tail. Actually, Clint, you're right. We're all trying to eat, but there's a smelly, ugly, ring-tailed skeleton ruining it for us. Clint flicks his attention from me to Leo, who smiles sweetly at him. Mind doing us all a favor and getting the fuck out? Clint leans in low to the table, putting his face next to Leo's. Leo keeps a straight face, and I'm impressed because I can smell the stench of Clint's breath even from here. Think you're funny, Beaner? It's Spick. If you're trying to make me mad, you might as well do it right, eh? Leo takes a sip from his milkshake nonchalantly while Clinton gapes at him. His brain, which I imagine is Swiss cheese at this point, tries to come up with some kind of retort. Go fuck yourself. Yeah? Well, I tell you to do the same, but you've got a sister at home. Oh! No, 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 no. Clint moves fast, swinging a fist up around toward Leo's jaw. Leo's ready for him and lunges to the side, though the fist still glances from the side of his face. He grabs Clint's arm and yanks him down to the table, which knocks over my milkshake and sends it splashing into my lap. I gasp and stand up and move to the side of the table while Leo starts to rub Clint's face into the mess, smashing the table into it a few times. Rip the milkshake, right? Poor milkshake. Hey, stop it! Oh, hello, you. You look very different from what I had in my imagination. I jump as Janice shouts right next to me. Leo hears her too and turns around while holding Clint down. The dead look is in her eyes. and the fur on her face is matted like she's been crying a lot but hasn't washed it since. I'm not going to deal with this today, Leo. You know Clint started it. Leo's ears are flat as he looks back at Janice, clearly thrown off. Underneath him, Clint snarls and thrashes. Am I gonna have to get the taser from the back? Slowly, Leo backs off Clint, who immediately shoves himself off the table. I can see Leo prepare himself in case Clint takes another swing, but he doesn't even look at him. His already dirty tank top smeared brown from the milkshake. He stumbles to the door and disappears outside. Clean up that fucking mess before you leave. With that, the old coyote turns and stalks off to the back. She leaves me and Leo to stare at each other before we ruefully wipe out the spilled milkshake with brown napkins. You know, the way how I pictured Janice in my head was like a tan coyote. Like, more like a tan coyote because, like, you know, we're in Echo and all of it is desert. So I kind of pictured her that way. But, you know, imagination goes wild. Because we didn't see Janice in Carl's route. Okay, she leaves me and Leo to stare at each other before we ruefully wipe out the cereal milkshakes with brown napkins. There are only two other patrons in the diner with us, a skunk and a jackrabbit, but I can feel their eyes on us the whole time and it only adds to the embarrassment. What do you think her problem is? I ask Leo under my breath as we come back from tossing a ball of wet napkins to the trash can. He just shrugs, though, and I follow him quietly out of the diner into the late afternoon light outside. We'll walk in silence for a while, with me walking awkwardly because my soaked and sticky pants are incredibly uncomfortable on my thighs. We stop at the motel where I change and shower before grabbing a fresh change of clothes, then we start back out again. I think about staying behind at the motel, but I feel like that would be a dick move after what Leo's been through today. As we walk back, Leo takes a detour, stopping at the convenience store. The fight has made things a little awkward between us, so I just shove my paws into my pockets and follow Leo. We go to the back where he grabs a 12-pack. He doesn't say anything to me either as he makes his way to the front to pay. Finally, when we're back outside, he nudges me in the direction behind the convenience store. Let's sit. I lead the way because we've both done this dozens of times before. We step off the asphalt and down a little ways to the brush where Leo pulls me up into a boulder. Leo sighs, pulling out the first beer bottle. Leaning back, he pulls out his keys to use the bottle opener on his keychain before handing it over to me. He does the same for himself, then practically chugs the whole thing down before grabbing another, even before I'm about to take my first swig. I don't comment on it, and instead I look out the sunset, thinking about how nice it would be just to oh, excuse me. Whew. Thinking about how nice it would be just to sort of run off into the wilderness. At least for a little while. I lean back and sigh, noticing a white and brown splotch on the knee of Leo's jeans. What you said to Clint, that was pretty mean. He said some pretty mean stuff too, and it's not like I like saying that shit to him. Seeing me lying back, Leo shifts closer to me, allowing me to rest my head against his thigh. Again, the familiar position probably isn't a good idea, but I just don't care. So does Clint still live with his dad? No, he went to prison 2 years ago. Really? Because of... Yeah. Shit. We sit in silence, enjoying our quiet surroundings. As I lay there, I hear Leo open another bottle, then another. Finally, he lets out a big sigh. Chase, come back to Echo. I close my eyes, turning my vision blood red against the sunset. Maybe, just not yet. He doesn't press the issue, instead reaching out for another bottle. By the time I got to my second one, the rest are gone. As we walk back to Leo's house in silence, he occasionally brushes his tail up against my own. I let him. He's mildly drunk, so he's sort of excused for now. I do have to push his muzzle away when he leans up for me for some sort of support after his feet hit a sudden dip in the road. I'm busy trying to steady him when I hear footsteps pounding up behind us. Before I knew it, Leo shoved me hard to the side and I go stumbling into the weeds. Whirling around, I see a dark figure running off to the side from Leo. His attack aborted as he saw the wolf had seen him. Oh, it's you. He comes back around and I immediately see it's Clint, and he's got a crowbar. Oh, shit. My stomach drops as I look from him to Leo, who's got a giant smile on his face. This is exactly what he wanted to happen. What the hell? Come back for more, Clint? Clint doesn't say anything. Instead, he just screams and runs at Leo again. Usually I wouldn't be worried about Leo in a fight with Clint, but the crowbar and the fact that Leo can barely stand has me really worried. Leo backpedals, then ducks low and lunges forward, which I don't think Clint expects. His grunt is guttural, but to my surprise, he doesn't go down. Instead, he grips the back of Leo's shirt before raising the crowbar and bringing it down hard into Leo's back with a solid meaty. Ooh. A gasping cringe, starting to jog towards them. Clint presses forward and Leo trips over something, landing on his butt. Clint raises the crowbar again and Leo raises a paw. For about 2 seconds, they play a game with Leo moving his paws above his head, anticipating the swing. Clint, meanwhile, keeps trying to re-angle the crowbar so that Leo will miss. He doesn't get a chance though, because that's when I reach them. I'm not exactly a good fighter considering I've never been in a fight before, but the idea of Leo getting hit in the face with a crowbar provides me with the terror that spurs me on. I jump on his back and grab a handful of fur on his forehead and yank back as hard as I can. I guess I should have hit him or something, but it seems to work alright. His remaining teeth flash in the porch light and I get a hot blast of his rancid breath as he snarls angrily. Suddenly I'm sitting down the asphalt, feeling like my forehead had just caved in. He must have somehow swung the crowbar back and hit me. Oh, I desperately rub at my head, imagining the skull shattered in a million pieces like an egg, but everything feels like it's still in shape. The fight's still going on and I can now hear Leo snarling. It's not a sound that I've heard that often, but it's deep and way scarier than anything Clint could have managed. I try to focus on the spot that I see their bodies tangled together. When I do see that Clint's on top again, the crowbar raised, pointy end down, aimed at Leo's face. I start to crawl towards, but there's no way I'm gonna make it. Again, the sound of something hard striking flesh, but this time it isn't Clint hitting Leo. It's Clint that hisses in pain this time as he arches back, baring his fangs. There's a dark shape behind him, but before I can focus on Leo's massive paw, smashes into the side of Clint's face. Leo's not playing this time. In fact, it looks like he's put everything he had into that punch, and the sound it makes is like a slab of beef being thrown against concrete. Clint's body, barely visible, goes slack before he slumps down against Leo, only to be shoved roughly to the side. I crawl up next to the wolf, and he looks over at me as I do. His paw immediately goes to my head to steady it as he looks closer at my face. Fuck, did he hit you? That's when I realize I have a massive headache and it feels like full of water. I rub a spot that itches a bit right above my eyebrow and my patch comes away slightly dark and bloody. That fucking piece of shit. Leo sends a back fist into the side of the down Clint's face. Hey, that's enough, Leo. That's when I remember that it was someone else that actually saved Leo. The voice is familiar, but it isn't until I look up the source that I recognize Kudzu. He's breathing hard and he's holding the crowbar that Clint dropped. The dark spots around his eyes blend with the night and accentuate how wide his actual eyes are. He looks spooked. What the hell are you guys doing? He sounds pissed and I feel a little defensive. Hey, he tried to run up on us. Kudzu's eyes flick over and look at me before focusing back on Leo. I thought we had the shit figured out. Why the hell are you fighting again? I don't really get why this Kudzu guy is freaking out so much. His nostrils flare with each breath. You'd think he was the one that almost got his brains run through with the crowbar. Calm the fuck down. You know how Clint is. He wouldn't do half the crap he does to you if you didn't antagonize him so much. He would say he was a bully, but from what I've seen, it's the reverse. It's hard to think of Leo as a bully, but the way he acted towards Clint in the diner was a bit much, even if it was Clint. Hey, if he can't take it, then maybe he shouldn't dish it, eh? Leo grins and sticks out a pot of kudzu, who glares, but nevertheless reaches down to help him up. Leo promptly pulls me up with him. As I get to my feet, a wave of dizziness instantly hits me and I stumble into Leo. Fuck, see? Leo steadies me and looks into my eyes, worry etched all over his face. I'm fine, just got dizzy for a sec. That's not fine. Do you feel sick? Can you see straight? Seriously, I'm fine. Just give it a minute. Puchicha! Gonna kill that hick when he wakes up. At that moment, Clinton makes a snorting sound and starts to roll over. Leo's eyes flash to where he's laying, but Kudzu steps up between the two, still glaring. No! Get the fuck back home and take care of the otter. I'm gonna see if I can help him up from trying to kill you later on down the road. Fat chance. He's been wanting to kill me ever since middle school. Clinton starts to sit up, supporting himself with both paws as he looks around. Go! Whatever. Leo turns back to me and his eyes soften as he puts an arm around my shoulders. Come on. We might need to go to the hospital. I'm fine, really. The low tones of Kudzu's voice murmuring to Clint fades off as we stumble into the night. No, you're not fine. He hit you fucking hard. Damn a fucking idiot. He could have killed you. I put a paw back to the sore on my forehead and rub at it. Leo grabs my wrist. Don't do that. You'll infect it. We'll clean it up back at my place. Swear to God, I'm not going to leave my house without my gun again. Suddenly, Leo's face takes an odd look. Ugh, one sec. He makes as if to steady move both paws, then stumbles off to the side of the road. It's dark and I can't see him, but I sure as hell can hear a retch followed by a splash. This happened about 3 more times before Leo shakily, but more steady approaches from me at the darkness, a sheepish grin on his face. You okay? Yeah, just had a little too much, eh? Really? The Leo I knew could down 15 cans and could still walk. Hey, rolling around with a crazy longtail sitting on you wouldn't do your gut any favors. Mm-hmm, sure. Leo chuckles and wraps an arm around me again, though this one feels more intimate rather than just being there to keep me steady. We walk in silence for a while, just enjoying the evening air. The temperature is always perfect here when the sun's gone. It gets me more annoyed though, because I imagine we'd be having a much better time if Clint had just tried to murder us. At least that's what I imagine he was trying to do, since hitting someone with a crowbar isn't exactly fucking around. Has it really gotten this bad between you and Clint? Leo squeezes me. It's always been this way. It looked like he was trying to kill you. Well, the gringo really hates me. Leo laughs, then falls silent for a while, ears pinned back. I guess he was angrier than usual. I think it's just that I might have pissed him off more than I usually do. I look up at him. About that, what you said to him back at the diner was really awful. You too? How can he expect not to get hit with that if he's gonna off on us and being a spick? Squeeze me. Leo barks out a laugh. Talk shit and get hit, I always say. I don't know, man. What his dad did is different. It's not his fault, you know? Hey, he might be fucked up, but he can still make the decision to be a complete dick to everyone, can he? I wish Jenna were here to help me back up on how this isn't exactly fair to Clint. Anyway, I think he was onto something. Did you see how crazy he looked? He's always on something. And speaking of which, Leo steps slow, and I look ahead to see an isolated house further up the road. The porch light is on, and I see a skinny figure get out of a chair and start walking up the front yard. It's clear he means to intercept us, and I slow down with Leo as he draws closer. Duke. Leo nods at him. The skinny weasel looks us both up and down, raising up a paw to pull a drag from what looks like a cigar. I assume it's actually a blunt because it smells like Carl. He's as patchy and unhealthy looking as I remember him. Not as torn up as Clint, but still bad enough to know he's done his fair share of dabbing in meth. He doesn't say anything, and after a while, Leo clears his throat. Isn't it a nice he's here? As Duke cuts Leo off, he's staring right at me, so I assume it's me he's talking about. Hi, Duke. I probably couldn't have said any more awkwardly. Leo steps forward, partially in front of me. Did you need something? Duke lets out a long stream of smoke towards us, definitely a blunt. Same shit's been happening to me after you told me about it. Huh? Leo looks back at him, looking politely puzzled, though I see his tail twitching behind him. You've been seeing shit. Now I'm seeing shit. It's quiet for a few seconds, so Leo laughs. Oh, maybe lay off the drug cocktails. No, it's different. The shit I see, almost real. I saw him. He nods at me again, and for some reason I'm starting to feel really uncomfortable. Leo laughs, and this time it's much more forced. He starts pushing me along further up the street. Sorry, Duke, but Chase is taken. Janice is still single, though. Duke follows us, walking along the dirt while we stay on the asphalt. When did he get here? Leo doesn't say anything and keeps pushing me along. I can see Duke getting angry, and I don't want another fight, so I finally butt in. I got here on Saturday. Is something wrong, Duke? Duke doesn't answer. He just stops and watches us go, a frown stretch across his face. I keep on looking over my shoulder at him, but he doesn't move, and he doesn't take his eyes off us. The fuck? Stop looking at him, Chase. What was he talking about? Does it matter? Just keep moving and hope we don't run into any more of these psychos. I manage not to look back again, but I feel his eyes on the back of my neck the entire time. Even though the instructions say only to take 2, Leo gives me 3 generic... I have no idea how to say that. If anyone knows how to say that, then props to you, but I have no clue. Also, I just noticed you can sort of like make out like who, like them taking like a picture of this whole thing. After that, he takes me to the bathroom and starts cleaning the cut on my forehead. I grimace against the sting of the rubbing alcohol. We really should take you to the ER. This might even need stitches. I lean my head back into his paws because not having to hold myself up feels good. No, it's not that bad. Besides, even if it's a concussion, they'll just send me home and tell me to get some rest, along with the $500 bill. I played football, I know, but you never know how serious it could be. I sigh and I don't say anything, deciding it would be easier just not to argue. Leo starts to debate whether or not to shave the fur, but I finally get annoyed and tell him to get on with it. As he prods around, I can feel the area around the cut swelling, and I wonder if I'm gonna get a black eye. A black eye? Hold on, did I read that right? Okay. Leo finally steps back and starts putting everything back into the first aid kit. Wait. Huh? Leo glances at me questioningly. Aren't you hurt? He thinks for a second. I don't think so. I feel fine, I mean. Turn around. I seen Clinton hit Leo with the crowbar and he'd hit him hard. Leo sighs before finally turning around, placing his paws on the sink, and he stares into the mirror. I look at his back, the black shirt dusty from the dirt that he'd rolled around in. Carefully I lift the shirt up his back. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. I can see the raised fur from a growing welt where the crowbar had hit, though. There aren't any cuts there, but I do see some spots of dried blood. You have a bunch of little cuts back here. I see the smooth muscles under Leo's fur shift as he flexes them. Really? Must have been from the rocks in the road. I think my shirt came up a little when we were wrestling around. Give me the alcohol. Leo sighs again but hands it over. And take off your shirt. He smirks at that and slowly, purposefully, sensually strips his shirt off. I try to ignore him, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't turned on by his body. It's been a long time since I last saw him shirtless, and he's kinda changed. He's thicker, broader in the shoulders and chest, and the muscles smoother and a little more filled out. I swallow and start to dab the alcohol into the cuts. He makes no indication of feeling any pain, instead swishing his tail around and flicking it up between my legs. Again, I don't know why, but Leo has a way of making you want to play along even if you know it's a bad idea. He's been flirting with me this whole time, so I guess he's sort of broken down my defenses. Once I finish rubbing in the alcohol, I let a paw linger on Leo's hip. We both stay like that for a while until Leo finally turns around, leaning his back against the sink. Hello, Leo! Hello! Hoop, 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 hoop. I look over his form, his broad chest down to his thick stomach. Like what you see? Yes, I like what I see! Holy shit! Holy shit! You are fucking hot. I'm sorry, you are fucking hot. When I look back up at him, his brows are raised, and before I can say anything, he's leaning down. I think he's about to kiss me, so I turn my head to the side, but instead he just kneels to the side of my head as he brings me in for a hug. I freeze for a second, but relax into his hold after a while, enjoying the feel of his warm fur against mine. He doesn't say anything, he just holds me. I can feel his excitement through his pants as he presses into me, then starts nibbling at my ear. I gasp as he catches between my teeth and almost moan. He, of course, knows I have sensitive ears. He moans a little in response, and before I know it, he's pulling me up against him. Then lifts me off the ground and spins around and sits me up on the sink. My head throbs again and I think I'm about to fall, but he holds on to me and before he begins digging his mouth onto my neck, kissing and like, "Aw, this is really cute. Foxo, hi! Welcome on in, Foxo. How's it going, buddy?" Oh boy? Wait, what are we oh boying for? But yeah, Foxo, the Blep welcomes you. How's it going, buddy? I gasp and hug around his body, pulling him close as he licks and nips. Leaning my throat back, I expose more of my neck to him, closing my eyes as the back of my head presses against the mirror. Leo growls, his paws sliding up under my shirt, filling up my stomach before moving to my chest. Fucking hell. He moans it, sounding like he just scratched an unreachable itch, just like when he had the first drink of water in days. Yeah, I'm doing alright. I'm doing really good, Foxo. I'm really glad to see you here, by the way. We're playing a bit of Echo. Well, actually, we're starting on part 2 of Echo, which is going on a different character's route, which will probably take like hours to do. Leo, I gasp about to tell him to stop, but then his tongue burrows in past my fur to lick the skin and my eyes roll. He pulls back finally and I lower my gaze to meet his. His tongue is hanging out, making him look a little goofy. I can see a few of my short brown hairs on his tongue. See, he bleps too! He bleps too. That's why I love Leo. He's a wolf that bleps. He starts to lean in again, and this time I don't turn my head away. As he almost reaches me, his eyes suddenly flick to the right, looking over my shoulder, and I see a shock cross in his expression. Then he jumps and spins around, knocking over the soap dispenser and the first aid kit. I jump too. What? This is a big huff. To be fair, that was a little bit of a huff. I think it's getting a little steamy here. I mean, maybe. Maybe we're getting a little steamy. Leo continues to stare, one paw clutching his chest and the other digging into my thigh. I wait for him to finish, but he doesn't go on. Did you see something? I thought I did, just seeing things, I guess. Finally, he turns his attention to the first aid kit and leans over, starting to pick everything back up. Slowly, I slide myself down from the sink, pushing my shirt back into place, realizing the moment had passed. While I'm curious as to what he saw, I'm also conscious of the fact that the break in our intimacy has made things awkward again. Should we check the house? Could be Clint. No, it wasn't Clint. Leo grabs his shirt and pulls it back on before turning on to me. Just seeing things. I think back to Clint. Well, alright. As we leave the bathroom, Leo looks back in for a moment before flipping the light off. I think it's a little strange that he makes sure to close the door. Leo doesn't make a move on me again after that night, instead of keeping a good few inches between us on the bed. I can't help but wonder if I did something wrong. What I do know is I'm kind of disappointed. Oh! Okay, we're on Thursday now. By morning, Leo seems to have perked up a little. I stretched with some good news from Flynn. Carl had been in the crawl space. According to him, it had been too hot to sleep anywhere but there. Of course, that's fucking insane, but it's definitely something Carl might do. In better spirits, Leo suggests that we go out to some burger joint, to which I agree. On the way, we chat about my project. So obviously, I don't want to spend all of our time just having fun. You got a project to do after all. Yeah. I don't remind him that most of this messing around has been his idea. Though we do need to hang out with TJ today, if that's okay. I promised him we would yesterday. He's been feeling kind of down, obviously. I look down at my sausage biscuit sandwich, the excess grease glistening in the sunlight shining through my window. I was thinking the park. Yeah, that sounds like fun. So what do you still need to do? I take a bite to give myself time to think. Well, honestly, I'm not too sure. The whole premise is about the body that was found in the mine. Yeah, what was that about? Well, I read about it on a website. Apparently some guy's mutilated body was found in the mines and everyone in the town lost their minds. A website? Yeah. Shouldn't you have a better source than that? Well, especially if the whole idea is your project is based off of that. I blush. Sometimes someone like Leo chastening me about journalistic integrity is kind of embarrassing. It's not that he's stupid. I guess I'm just used to feeling like the brains of our little dynamic. I mean, it's cited. I just need to get the book, which is something else we'll need to do. You have a library card? No. Wow, surprising. But I could sign up for one. Leo nudges me. Don't be bitter. I just want you to do a good job. I'm the one that went to college. I know what I'm doing. Leo laughs. You know, I read a study about college kids. A study? Sounds like something you wouldn't know about considering you didn't go to college. Right. Anyway, it was about how college doesn't make you smart. Just more liberal. Uh-huh. So is that a bad thing? Well, paying $20,000 a year to get indoctrinated just doesn't appeal to me. I frown. Is that why you stopped going, or have you just been looking up these studies to make yourself feel better about quitting? Leo pauses. That's a strong word. I guess I just realized that what I had was good enough. My dad makes more than most college grads, and he's teaching me the trade too. Leo pauses as he exchanges lanes around a massive 16-wheel carrying what looks like steel. And I'm already certified. Okay, where exactly are you going with this? I just want to make sure you're okay with that, is all. Oh, well, I'm not Jenna. As long as you're doing what you want, I really don't care what it is that you decide to do. Leo smiles. Well, good. And if I'm not saying we will, but if we ever got together again, I'll be able to, ooh, excuse me. I don't know why I've been doing that all night, but if we ever got together again, I'll be able to support you. Well, just don't make fun of me for going to college or what degree I decided to go into. You know, you're good enough writer already. You could have just started up a blog or something. What? I just read that it's what journalism is like these days. I started sulking again. Maybe you should stop looking these things up. At least I'm learning to do something. It's not like I got a degree in psychology and stopped there. Well, didn't you tell me you wanted to get into history? Isn't that worse? Let's just drop it. Leo looks at me out of the corner of his eye. Chula, I'm not making fun of you. Well, when someone starts sounding like my dad, I think it's a good time to end the conversation. Aw, you're not into that? Definitely not. We drive in silence for a while as Leo pulls out his food from the brown grease-stained paper bag. As we're heading back, he nudges me. Hey, I have an idea. He talks with his mouth full, one hand holding onto a sausage biscuit while the other steers. Are you asking me? Hey, both hands on the wheel. Leo chuckles as he swings from his orange juice carton with his steering paw before returning it to the wheel. Even when I'm in the car, you drive like shit. Hey, I'm way more careful when you're with me. That makes me feel so much better. Good. He takes another huge bite. I wait a while he chews and he finishes, he takes another bite. So, you were saying? Oh yeah, you know those train tracks behind my yard? Didn't you say that they were important somehow? Yeah, Echo used to be an important junction. Well, why don't we go there and you can film some stuff? The rail yard is only like a 5-minute walk away. I think. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Leo smiles, panning a little in the heat, looking proud of himself. Cool. We'll go over once we get back. There's not much left of the old train yard. The building that used to service the junction is basically gone save for the foundation. There are two groups of abandoned freight cars with Golden Gate Southwestern and chip paint on the sides. I'm happy to see it since it'll help with the scenery I'm trying to capture. After doing a few panning shots along with some close-ups of the cars, I leaned against an old freight car with my head back. I closed my eyes, even against the heat. It's almost noon, so it's almost impossible to find any good shade out here. For some reason, it's only now that I'm realizing how stupid it was to do this so early. The sunset would have looked a lot better, along with it being a lot cooler. Leo's been gone almost 20 minutes at this point. He said he was going to get some water bottles, but it's been a while. Sweat seeping into my shirt makes my skin crawl. After looking around, I peel it off and hang it up against a small metal ladder on the frame of one of the freight cars. I leaned back against the exact same spot where I was earlier, where it wasn't burning hot, and resumed closing my eyes. Vaguely, I wonder how many miles this thing has covered, how much of its country it's seen. The railway was closed down in the 60s, so it's at least over 50 years old. Unless they were using Echo as a dump for unwanted train cars and left in here recently. A lot older than I am. It's something really comforting about leaning against something that's been through so much. Almost reassuring. It's like swimming in an old river, or a lake that's been around for millions of years. Something brief connected to these things are permanent. I hear rustling through the grass on the other side of the car, but I keep my eyes closed. Leah, I think I'm gonna die. I'm not built for the heat. I wait, but he doesn't say anything. Leo? The rustling starts up again. A long, slow drag through the dried vegetation. This time it sounds like it's coming from under the train. Leo? I finally open my eyes and step away from the car, turning around to look at it like I can see through it. What are you doing? Obviously trying to scare me. Leo was never subtle as Jenna, but he did fair his share of trying. I leaned over to look under the car, glaring. You know, if you're trying... I met with emptiness under the car. Just dirt, dead grass, and rusted rails. Was it some kind of animal? It sounded pretty big to be. Chase! Fuck! A heavy paw slams on my shoulder, and I jump as Leo shouts right next to my head. I stumble forward, but he grabs me up, laughing. Holy shit, I've never seen you jump that hard before. Normally I'd be pissed, but that build-up just had me glad it was Leo. How the hell did you do that? Do what? The whole setup that you just did. Well, you see, first, I take my hand and slap it on your shoulder. No, the whole walking around behind me and making that dragon sound out of the car. Huh? Leo looks confused. I frown. Guess it would have just been kind of impossible for someone Leo's size to sneak around like that without me seeing him. Did you hear something? Leo mimics my earlier position and bends over to look under the train. Yeah, but there wasn't anything there. I thought you were trying to scare me. Well, I was, but I didn't do that. Probably some animal or something. There's a lot of weird wildlife out here, you know. He stands up. That would have been a good idea, though. It sounded really heavy, like a person. Could have been, you know, a lot like the weirder people around here that like to come here to get drunk or high or whatever. Sounds fun. I must still look a little unnerved because Leo sets a hand on my shoulder. Well, I'm here now, so don't worry. His eye drifts down to look at my torso. Damn, you kept in shape. Well, hell, even better shape. I smirk, grabbing his shoulder. Hey, swimming every day helps. Leo rubs my shoulder, grinning. You look good. You always say that, and I always mean it. Well, thanks. I've gotten to the point where I've just stopped pretending that there isn't at least something still there between us. And I think I've stopped pretending that nothing's gonna happen on this trip, eventually. What really worries me is what will happen after. Leo, meanwhile, slides his hand over my stomach. Not that I care if you gain any weight. That happens, but I like you this way. Nito, hi! Welcome on in! The Blap welcomes you! How's it going? I'm happy to have you here with us. I'm actually doing really good. We've been playing a lot of Echo today, and I've really been enjoying it. We actually completed, 100% completed Carl's route, which was character 1 out of 5. So we're on character 2 right now, which is this boy on the screen right now. And possibly one of my favorite characters of the entire Echo game as well. I only hesitate for a moment. I saw my own hand under his shirt, and Leo makes a soft gasping noise as I press it up against his stomach. His ears fold back, though he keeps a grin on his face. Being a wolf makes it harder, you know. I'm mostly going to be lurking, but I wanted to say hi. Ah, okay, buddy. That's good to know. But yeah, I mean, thanks for stopping by, though. Oh, wait. Nito, I actually forgot. I need to send you the World's Live stuff. I promised I'd send you that like a few weeks ago. I need to send that to you once stream is over. What do you mean, possibly, Rocky? I mean, at least I think that we got all the endings for Carl. Yeah, I'll be sure to send that over to you, Nito. I just gotta find like that Dropbox or Drive link that I had them saved. I believe you. As if to try and convince me he hasn't really gained weight, he flexes his abs, flattening the soft fur on his stomach against my palm. Oh, did I say possibly? If I said possibly, then ignore that because it's obviously he is your favorite. Did you not see what happened in that bathroom with us? Holy shit, that was so cute. Like, I just want to like give him like, I just want to give him a belly rub and just boop his nose, cause he bleps too. He's a fellow blepper. Steel wrapped in velvet. But you know I'm into that. I get the urge to adjust my pants and my... But I don't want to make it that obvious that you didn't see that. You didn't see any of that. You mind feeling some other part of me? You're making me feel fat. I giggle before I slide my hand up his torso. This exposes more of it. Yes! 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 We get to see our boy Leo again. We get to see shirtless Leo again. Oh my gosh, I thought that was only going to be like for one scene. This exposes more of his white stomach all the way up to his chest, and I can feel his pounding heart. That better? Leo just gives a breathy, laughing exhale as he lets me feel him. He settles closer, resting both of his hands on my waist. I feel his peck with my hand as it thumped through his fur to find the nipple underneath, feeling the heart in response. Leo shudders and grins at me. I think this place does things to us, Chase. Remember our first kiss? This isn't the exact spot. Was it really 6 years ago? I sigh, then slide both of my hands under his shirt and wrap them around his waist, burying my face in his chest. Leo hugs back as he starts nibbling at my ears, which makes me gasp.
Hey, can't we just enjoy the moment? I am. I look up at him and I'm not sure if I run into him, but. Oh! It's a small peck, but then Leo puts his hand behind my head and pushes me deeper into the kiss. He opens his mouth to clamp around mine, and his warm tongue pressing up against my lips. I'm still for a moment, and so is he, waiting for me to respond. When I do, it's with my paws around his back, me kissing back. A soft crack to my right makes me jerk my head from the kiss to look over. Where did you come from? Leo coughs in surprise, pulling back his wiping his muzzle. Oh, Kudzu, what's up? The raccoon's expression is hard to read as usual, but I see the corner of his muzzle quirk up after a while. Not much. What's up with you? You know, stuff. Leo laughs, and finally, Kudzu smiles. Hey, Kudzu. I speak up, feeling awkward staying silent after Kudzu caught us like that. He nods in my direction. Chase, so what are you guys doing out here? Seems like kind of a dumpy place to be doing that. I blush, but turn and point to my camera bag sitting inside the opening of a car. I was filming for my project. This place is important to Echo's history. I see. We could ask you the same thing. Well, I'm not exactly doing that, am I? Anyway, I just take with these walks sometimes on my day off. In the middle of the day? Usually. He narrows his eyes at me, clearly thinking that I'm suspicious about something, so I quickly add, I mean, it just gets so hot out here at this time of day, I'd die. Kudzu shrugs his shoulders nonchalantly. I don't know, I go for walks a lot. That's what I was doing last night when I found you two. Hey, thanks for stepping in last night. That could have ended badly. Kudzu shrugs again. It would have. Had to do something, didn't I? Well, we appreciate it. Leo wraps an arm around me and hugs. So, how was he when he came to? Pissed, obviously. He always is. But he said some things last night. You should stay away from him for a while. Kudzu's normally placid face shows some concern for the first time. What, did he say he was going to kill me? Leo says it lightly, like it's not a big deal. Among other things. His eyes flick to me. I give a start. What? Whoa, wait, did he say some shit about Chase? Leo's hackles rise, and I can see him starting to bare his teeth. Again, he was on something last night. He might have not even remembered it, but I'm just warning you two to be careful around him from now on. Kudzu looks back at Leo. Don't provoke him. I wouldn't if he wasn't such a fucking asshat. Just ignore him. I swear to God, if he talked about doing shit to Chase, his grip tightens even more around me. Hey, I'll be gone in a few days. Don't worry about me. I'm still worried about you. I'm just getting really tired of that meth skeleton messing with everything I do. And if he fucking tries to do something with you, Leo. The air is tense and I can feel Leo growling deep in his throat. Wanting to change the subject, I speak up. Hey Kutsu, you know, we were gonna go out to the park and hang out. You wanna come? Thanks, but I think I'm good. Leo perks up from his brooding. You know what? I think that's a good idea. We were gonna play some soccer, but there's only gonna be 3 of us. You could even help it out. Kutsu thinks. I suppose I could use a workout. Ha! You're just like TJ. I think you guys would get along great. I don't really see TJ and Kudzu getting along just because they're fitness conscious. They're practically night and day. Well, we're heading out right now. You want to come? Kudzu hesitates for a second longer before he nods his head in a quick jerk. Alright, yeah. Why not? And with that, I gather up my equipment and we head back to Leo's house. It's not surprising that Echo hardly has an inch of flat grass in the entire town. I love this next scene. Ooh, what's this next scene? Leo says they're planning to... You know what? Actually, hold on. Don't tell me. I'm just going to use that as a clue. Leo says they're planning to lay down sod next to the lake when the area is further developed. But as of now, we have to settle for park near Payton. As TJ in it? Ooh. I need to see more TJ too. I miss him. I miss his innocence. It's a plain stretch of grass, usually for youth soccer games. In fact, I can remember when I was part of that same organization, back when my stubby legs didn't matter as much. Of course, after a few years, it became clear that being an otter, I wasn't built for the sport. That's when I took up swimming, of course, but then I realized I wasn't really great at that either. Of course, I could go out and swim in any non-aquatic, but when it comes to other otters, I was pretty much the bottom of the barrel. As we drive, TJ sighs next to me. I look over at him, he's got his elbow against the armrest, staring out the window as we pull into the empty parking lot. Everything alright? TJ's ears perk up, and when he looks over at me, clearly forcing a smile. Of course. You don't seem that way. What's up? I lean closer to him. Leo's talking to Kudzu in the front, so we have some amount of privacy. TJ looks down at his lap for a moment, then just shrugs. I think it's pretty obvious, Chase. This whole trip has been pretty bad. I'm about to counter that it hasn't been that bad, but he goes on. I just think it might have been best if I hadn't come. I feel bad is all. The way he tries not to frown, but it does anyway, it's both heartbreaking and adorable at the same time. I automatically rest a paw on his shoulder reassuringly. Shit, stuff happens, right? We came here to have fun, and that's what we're doing right now. Yeah, it's just that I feel bad for everyone else. What happened yesterday, I think it affected everyone. No way! I had a great time with Leo yesterday. It wasn't sad at all. I realize that statement makes me look like a total asshat, but TJ just nods as Leo parks the car. We're here. As we reach the field, Kudzu immediately starts jogging the length of it while TJ stretches. I stand there awkwardly for a second, not really sure if I should join them since that felt a little overboard for something so casual. At least I hope it's casual. Leo rests the soccer ball up against his hip as he joins me. So eager, huh? Apparently. Well, it's not like it's a bad idea. Don't want to pull anything. So me and Leo do a few awkward stretches before the other two join us in the middle of the field. So, time to pick up teams. There's only 4 of us. Shouldn't be too hard. You want to pick? Kudzu looks between us before his eyes settle on me. Chase. Oh, okay. Probably best to keep the lovers off the same team to avoid distraction. I at least wanted a little bit of a challenge. Kudzu gives Leo a little smirk. I blush, but Leo smiles easily, rolling his eyes. It's not like that. Sure. So, I'm on Leo's team? TJ settles up to Leo's side and the wolf puts an arm around his shoulders. Yep, you're lucky to have me. You know, in my country, we had a war over soccer once. I don't believe you. It's true. Thousands died in the football war. Wait, do you call it football? Because that seems pretty confusing since you're really into other football. I live here now, so football is soccer and football is football. But if I were to call soccer football, I'd call it football. Wait, what? Buchicha. Let's just start. Kudzu looks around. Since there's so few of us, why don't we just play half field? Grab a few rocks to mark the goal. After that's done, we start playing, and for me, it's pretty much a disaster. TJ, of course, dominates all of us. He dodges around with me at ease, making me look like an idiot as I spin around trying to catch him, falling on my ass more than once. Kudzu is able to hold his own for the most part, but TJ gets it past him without much difficulty. I think the Lynx realizes how badly he's beating us after a while and starts to ease off. He passes it to Leo more often and only really steps in when we get near the goal. Leo, while big, is slow as hell, and I actually managed to steal a ball from him a few times. I also think it's because he's not taking this seriously at all, because he keeps laughing and slapping me with his tail when I run past. At one point, with the score 7-0, I managed to get near the goal. TJ jogs in as I kick the ball clumsily, and it's so clear that he misses on purpose that everyone busts out laughing as it rolls into the net. TJ frowns. What? That was a great kick, Chase. I lean over, resting my hands on my knees as I gasp for breath. If you're gonna let me score, you have to make it look more convincing than that. Man. Also, I'm not 5. I can handle getting my ass kicked. After a while, we switch up teams with TJ on my side and Kudzu and Leo together. It's a bit more even after that, with me being TJ's handicap and all. After about half an hour, we call it quits and head back to the parking lot where Leo throws us water bottles. I wipe my face as I sit on one of the parking blocks. Even though it's early evening and the weather's still way too damn hot, Leo and TJ are already up again, TJ showing him some of the moves that he had so viciously used on me. It's such a good moment. It is a good moment. It's a lot nicer than frickin' Carl's story, because I think, like, by now, we would have been, we probably would have been, like, the alternate dimension thing already. Hey, how am I supposed to learn anything if you're just gonna keep using them on me? Just trying to make me look dumb, eh? Sorry. Alright, first thing you need to do. I noticed Kudzu standing a few feet away, watching along with me. So I guess you've known Leo since he moved to Echo? Kudzu looks over me before leaning back against Leo's van. Yeah, he saw me moving in and insisted on helping, so that's how I met him. Sounds like Leo. Kutsu takes a swig from his water bottle. He's a good guy. Definitely. So you used to live here, right? In Payton? Unfortunately. I guess Leo told you? Yeah. I also remember Leo saying some bad things happened in the city for the raccoon, so I wonder if I should press or not. Hey, sorry if it seemed like I was making fun of your name a few days ago. It's a cool name. It's just different, you know? Kutsu smirks. No, I know it's weird. You just caught me at a bad time is all. I spread my legs out, sighing as my knees pop. Ugh, I'm not built for running around. Well, yeah, you're built for swimming. I raised my eyebrows at his bluntness. It's not really a species thing to say, but most people don't often point out a species' aptitude. So I guess I wonder why you moved to Echo. It's such a dump. Kutsu's silent for a while. In the meantime, we watch Leo fall on his ass after TJ kicks the ball between his legs. People. Huh? People are the reason why I left Payton. Oh. Payton is technically a small city with just 70,000 people. Compared to Pueblo, that's nothing. The more people there are, the worse it is. It's the same anywhere. Ah, okay. Kutsu goes on. Sure, in Echo there's 100 shitty people, but in Payton there's 50... Oh, didn't mean that. But in Payton there's 50,000 of them. I prefer Echo. His tone is so dark at this point that I don't even respond. Something definitely happened here in Payton, and I don't dare ask what it is. Luckily, I'm saved an awkward silence as Leo haphazardly kicks the ball in our direction and TJ comes running up to us. Damn it! Alright, I think that's enough for today. He jogs over, wiping his face. Man, I need a shower. You two getting along? When Kutsu doesn't say anything, I pipe up. Yep. Leo frowns, clearly sensing something's wrong. Well, okay. Anyway, let's go out and get some ice cream. I'm really craving it. I stand up slowly, knees popping again as we all pile into the car. As we drive, TJ continues to stare out the window, but his ears are up and he doesn't seem depressed anymore. I lean over towards him. Hey, you feeling better? TJ turns to look at me, smiling. Yeah, it was fun playing with you guys. I grin. You're insanely good. He shakes his head. Not to compare to the other guys at school. I'm not aggressive enough, but it's fun. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. TJ nods. It's too bad that we can't come back and do it again tomorrow. Why not? Not that I'm crazy about doing it again, but I'm not sure what would prevent it. He looks at me. Well, your project. I frown. I don't think... Hey, what flavor do you guys want? Leo practically shouts back at us. I look around and we aren't even at the ice cream parlor yet. That doesn't seem to matter to TJ though. Ooh, cookie dough! It's been so long since I've had it. I like your flavor, TJ. Cookie dough? One of my favorite flavors. Really? I didn't know you liked that flavor. And somehow Leo is able to keep up with the conversation about ice cream flavors all the way to the actual ice cream parlor. You just caught something? What is it? Tell us! Tell me! I decided that the shots I got earlier in the day were too bright, not representative of the sad state of the town that I wanted. It's a spoiler? Okay. Yeah, I don't want, like little hints here and there, I'll definitely take, but spoilers, hold back on that. The setting sun does a better job of capturing the desolation and bittersweet depression of it all, a metaphor for an end in a way. At least that's how I hope it comes across. I lean back against the old rusted car, clicking through the images I've taken. It feels very quiet, despite the wildlife around me, and so that's why it's easy for me to pick out the footsteps headed in my direction. At first, I think it's Leo and wonder how he's finished up with the shower so quickly, but then I realize the crunch of dried vegetation is too soft, too light to be Leo. Oh shit. My grip tightens on the camera, watching as he approaches around the bend of the tracks. He doesn't see me at first. As he gets to the tracks, he hops onto one of the metal rails and bounces there, walking along like he's on a tightrope. Has everyone here in Echo just come here to take a walk? I think about walking around the train car out of line of sight, and hide until he passes me. While I'm thinking of this, he loses his balance and stumbles off the rail, and that's when he looks up. Of course, I'm the first thing he sees, and we both just stand there, watching each other. I don't know what to do. Said Clint probably didn't remember anything from last night, but I'm not willing to bet on it. It does look like he's not even sure who I am, though. His eyes are squinted almost shut, mouth almost screwed up as he scratches his head comically. He leans forward almost to the point of falling over again, definitely on something. At that moment, a look of recognition spreads across his face and his mouth opens wide. And starts. Oh shit! The abruptness of his movement startled me, and I almost dropped the camera. I angle myself away from the car so I'm not backed up against it, and start taking steps back as he gets closer. He stops though, about 10 feet away, and points at me. Hey, I know you! I'm at a loss for what to say. He's wobbling back and forth, and his eyes are open wide. Your name! There's an awkward pause as I try to determine whether or not he's asking a question. My name? Chase? Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Why did I tell him that? You're Leo's fag friend! I'm distracted again because that's when I see the handle of the pistol poking out from the front of the waistband of Clint's jeans. Clint glares. Fucking Leo, why do you hang out with that creep? I'm looking around trying to decide the best way of escape in case he loses it. I mean, he's always saying shit to me, always saying shit about my dad. He had a perfect fucking life and rubs it in my goddamn face. I take a few innocent steps back so that the end of the car is right next to me in case I have to duck behind it. I don't think Leo's life was that easy. It was pretty bad back in his country. Fucking being are coming to take my fucking life even worse. Couldn't go home and be happy. Couldn't go outside and be happy. I can't be happy anywhere. He sneers at me. And you fucking don't you? I just stare at him and I don't say anything. I feel like anything I could say, I just set him up.